Welcome to Porchville, ladies and gentlemen. Episode 3. Whee! We are back, man. We're back. I'm here with Cody.
What's up, guys?
Cody, give him some love, man.
Hey,
tell him what's going on.
I love all of you. I hope you guys find us on Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, iTunes.
iTunes.
Let's fucking rock and roll.
We just fucking got approved on iTunes like 20 minutes ago. They finally are putting our shit out there. How about that?
Dude, I mean, that's probably got me more pumped than anything right now because we're officially legit.
And this weekend we're actually going to go over to like Google Play. We're going to get on there. There's several. I got to look into all the platforms, man.
We're going viral, dude. We're getting out there.
We're green on this, so there's a lot of things that I don't know, and we got to work that out as we go. Forgive me, I've been a little under the weather today, so probably going to be a lot of that.
Well, you don't look like shit.
Well, I never look like shit.
That's a plus.
I mean, this beard.
That
It
beard.
masks everything.
How often you trim that bitch? Every day?
I trimmed it today. Just the little, little whispers that trail off.
Gotta get those frays, man.
You look down and it's like right here. Like, what the fuck is that? It sucks.
I gotta. If I'm going somewhere, going somewhere. Gotta fucking get that thing trimmed up, man.
Oh yeah.
Gotta edge it up. All right, well, what's up today, man? What we doing?
Speaking of trimmed up, looking all trimmed up over there is our buddy Reed.
Reed. What's up?
What's up, Reed? How you doing?
Doing good.
And over there holding hands is Joseph.
Hey,
Joe.
Hey.
Big Joe.
Holding those hands. That's me.
Joe brings the gun show, ladies and gentlemen.
Welcome to the gun show.
Welcome to the gun show.
Featuring Joe. So, tonight we did an interview with Troy Fisher last week, which was pretty fucking awesome.
I really enjoyed that show.
And this week we're just kind of taking it easy because we didn't feel like fucking interviewing anybody. So we just brought these motherfuckers over here. We're gonna drink.
I feel lied to.
This is the porch, bro.
I thought this was about me.
Oh.
And now you're not going to interview me?
Joe, it's always about you, bro.
It is.
All right.
It's a typical lead guitarist, right? Come on, man.
That was Joe at the beginning of the Porchville Podcast episode on the guitar.
Freaking slaying.
Yes, sir.
Some Hollow Days, some good stuff.
Joe, I have to admit, bro, you are literally one of my favorite guitarists, dude.
So, all joking aside, that means a lot.
Thanks, man.
Because Reed will tell you, Nick will tell you, there's not a lot of, there's not a lot of money. There's a lot of fucking hard work, but it's like you have something inside you that you just want to share.
Yeah.
You're compelled to share it, and when it connects with someone, man, that's what it's about.
That's
so
the
thank
best.
you.
You're welcome, man.
That's what makes it all worth doing.
I'm real sincere about that too, man.
I know you are. That's why it means something to me.
You're a really freaking talented musician, man. So is Reed.
He's all right.
Fuck yes,
But Reed
he is.
Reed's okay.
Reed gets back there and he's a fucking beast behind the drums. Reed's one of those kind of guys. If you don't know the guy, he might not fucking say a word to you.
When I met Reed,
I wouldn't.
Yeah, exactly. But when you know the guy, like he's just a fucking cool dude, and then he gets back there behind those drums and he turns into another dude.
When I met Reed,
like, whoa.
I asked him because I came walking by, he's tapping his fingers, and I was like, "Oh, are you a drummer?" And he said, "Yeah." I said, "All right, well, cool. What's your influence? What's your background?" He's like, "Oh, some jazz." And I'm like, "All right, yeah, it's probably not my thing." I'm like, "Well, all right. So when you play, when you sit down behind the kit, you just want to jam the fuck out. What do you put on?" He's like, "Oh, I don't know, like some Lamb of God." I'm like,
You're like, what?
Oh, it's like that.
6 to midnight.
Jesus Christ! All right, so you're serious, and yeah, he was.
So you heard Chris Adler is no longer with Lamb of God.
I did hear that.
How crazy is that? His brother's still in the band.
Well,
Weird.
Then what the fuck are you doing here, man? You should be loading up, heading out to wherever the fuck they're at.
I should
Set up an audition.
Audition.
Seriously.
Don't tell him you like listening to jazz as a first
I
one.
like
You'll
to
be
play
alright.
jazz.
I think jazz is probably like the root of just about everything.
It just doesn't sell well, though.
No.
Right?
It teaches you everything, though.
Right.
If you can play jazz, you can really play any other style.
What's your favorite style to play, though?
I mean, metal
double
rock.
bass, just beating the hell out of that thing. Just
That's
doing your
probably
thing.
the most fun for a drummer because they got the best bass lines with a freaking a lot of that has a double bass,
Oh,
like
yeah.
love that stuff, dude. They go heavy.
And Reed pulls it off pretty good. He's all right.
What do you like to play, Reed? Who's your favorite, man?
Lamb of God.
Lamb of God, that's your favorite?
Yeah, probably. Avenged Sevenfold, Slipknot.
Yes.
Good stuff.
Yeah, that is good.
I was
stuff.
listening
I'm
to
just
some Machine Head earlier tonight, some old Machine Head from back in the 90s, and their drummer, Chris, I think his name is, came from the Vinnie Paul school. In other words, not over-the-top flashy, just would have, the rides, the cymbals, but then would just bring the beat. And
Vinnie Paul was like maybe
he's
one
probably
of the
my
best.
favorite. He's probably
He
my
was-
favorite.
Now, honestly, Led Zeppelin, John Bonham. I mean, I wish I could play like him. I'm too robotic to play like him. Like, he's got so much finesse and
Flow.
style, and I don't know.
Bonzo is
I just
the
can't do it.
man. He's my favorite. He's my personal favorite. Yeah, him or probably like Dave Grohl or Taylor Hawkins. Those guys, I love that shit.
Hey, so my favorite is who's the guy who plays the keg in Slipknot? That's my guy. That's who I'd be.
That's the clown.
I'd be that guy. I'd be that guy fucking slaying the hell out of that keg every show, every freaking show, dude. I'd have one job that I'd nail it every time. Beat the shit out of the keg. I got it.
Hey, you know what my dream job would be? You remember back in the early 90s, that band Arrested Development? They had that Tennessee, that
Yes.
song. Well, they actually did an unplugged show back when MTV would play music. And
Those
please,
were the days.
if you're listening to me, don't take my word. Google this, verify it. They had a guy on stage whose sole job was to sit in a rocking chair and just go back and forth the whole show. Some old guy chilling in a
That's so
rocking
cool.
chair. Right. And that's what I want to do.
That's so cool, dude.
But you could get away with that in the 90s, too.
Yeah.
You could get away with
oh,
stuff
yeah,
like that.
Yeah.
One thing I always say that I love about 90s music is that everything didn't matter the style or genre or whatever. Everything just always, all, for some reason, fit together, in this package that was the 90s. I mean, nowadays, something like Blues Traveler versus Pearl Jam, like they wouldn't even be in the same building together.
Or on the radio. Let me tell you a sad story about today's music, because I'm in radio. So they have this new track out with Ariana Grande, Miley Cyrus, and Lana Del Rey, her name is, and it's a duet with these three pop singers. So I see this shit come
sorry to
over
hear that.
today. Well, here's the thing, Nick, and I'm not lying to you. I see this thing come over, and before I clicked it, I already knew what the song sounded like. With those auto-compressed vocals, the little beats that they do, the fucking dumbass. I knew what the McDonald's hamburger tastes like before I put it in my mouth. And that isn't what art should be, in my very humble opinion. Right. But then again, I'm not
That's
making
good.
money.
Art. The art of music just isn't
Nah.
anymore.
That's
At
business.
least on a wide scale.
There's a few bands out there that
There's
are
a
still
handful,
doing
yeah.
their thing, and
Yeah, there's a handful
But
that
it's few and far
just they
between.
don't give a fuck. They're just they're gonna do what they want to do and they don't care. And I respect that, but you are 100% correct. It is very few and far between. I mean, you just don't. Back in the day when we were coming up, I mean, and even before that, though. I mean, the '60s, the '70s, 80s, 90s. There was so much good music leading up to.
If you look at a top 10 chart of, and I will go back to the 60s, you can see everything from the Beatles to the Supremes, all on the same chart. And you had such a wide variety. And the further away from that birth of rock music, pop music, artists writing their own songs, the further away we've gone from that explosion, the more dumbed down it's become. And that to me doesn't, there's some ebbs and flow, but in general, I think that's accurate.
100%.
I mean, the music industry grew drastically from there. That's when the radio was out, like that was all they had. So they fucking grew with the times, and then you got TV, and then you got musicians playing on TV too, and then they get more famous, and they have to be a certain way because they become a character and all this other shit, man. The music industry evolved the 90s is crazy because that was right before the new millennium, you know? Like, that's the pinnacle of what music had gotten to at that point, you know? Like, that's pretty wild. Like, and technology was at such a... Actually, I'd say it was more like the 70s and 80s whenever technology really started getting into music and stuff, you know?
Like when the 90s will always have a very warm spot in my heart because that's kind of when I came of age. But you're talking about technology. I remember in the 90s, you could put on, you would actually go and buy a CD back in the day, boys and girls, and like you could buy a 9 Inch Nails CD, and you didn't know what you were going to hear because it wasn't not your simple guitar bass drum setup. Like Trent Reznor would record a car door slamming and then make that a loop and then manipulate it and turn it into something. That's creative.
Yeah.
That's using technology.
I don't know if it was Trent Reznor that I saw this interview where they were talking about doing something similar to that, but that was something that I saw during this interview where they were talking about the artist, you know, being unique and being different, you know, through, you know, and the music was mainly electronic type music, but that was what the producers pushed them to do, was go out and, you know, don't just get the stock sounds, like go out and make your own shit and turn that into something, because that's where the true magic and artistry is going to be at, you know.
Do you guys know where Auto-Tunes was made?
By the devil.
No, I think Auto-Tunes was used in like some sonar thing where they were like measuring depth of like underground stuff.
They should have fucking left it there.
And somehow like it did something to sound, and they figured this out. And like Cher was like one of the first people.
Cher.
Whatever that song was.
I couldn't tell you the song, but it's pretty. That's pretty wild.
That's the one.
Yeah.
That's when it got hot, and then everybody took it, and now
I just want it to be noted before we go any further that this is the second consecutive Porchville Podcast episode that Cher has been mentioned. As odd as that is, isn't that? Is that weird? Is that weird? So I think we're gonna have to find like a Cher segment or something.
She's actually an amazing musician, man. Like
I
she,
guess.
like dude, she's an entertainer, and she has fans that are loyal.
She was like the eye candy back in the day. I mean, I don't know much about Sonny and Cher or that dynamic, but
yeah, I don't know nothing about that either.
Yeah, I don't think she wrote her own songs. I mean, she had some songs. I'm not gonna say she didn't.
Yeah.
But
she's an entertainer, man, and she's older. She doesn't have to write her own songs anymore. Right? Like,
I think she's old. I don't even think older is.
Yeah,
really,
she's
I
fucking
think
old.
she's old.
Right. How old is she, dude?
I don't know.
She's old. That's how old she is.
She's old.
All right.
She's old for sure.
She don't look that old.
Have you looked recently?
Man, I'm just trying to say, last time I seen her, she did not look like she was the oldest one.
That's
ever.
back in the 80s, man.
Joe, I was born in 89, bud.
All right.
I was like talking with Joe about bands from back in the day, back in the 90s and stuff, because you know, me when I was a kid, I did not have the ability to go out or the discipline to, you know, make the money and save it and go out and spend it on concerts. Joe, however, would do that.
I went to some goddamn shows.
So
yes, I did.
You saw Pantera like every time they played or something like that.
And there were so many wonderful bands from that era. But if I had to just pick one that just kind of spoke to me more than anyone else, and to this day, Pantera. And I'm so thankful because, you know, they ended in 2001. Dime obviously was killed a few years later. Now Vinny's gone. But yeah, I'm in their third home video. I went to a shit ton of their shows. The one that I've seen, like the Ramones, all these awesome bands. I've told Nick this story. I'll share it with you guys. I had tickets to go see Nirvana. Let me tell you about this. So I'm in high school, and I'm young. I'm like, I guess I'm in 10th grade. In Utero had just come out, and I'm kind of in my first, like, band, right?
Right.
I play guitar. We had the singer.
What was the name of your first band?
I don't remember. Well, not this band I'm referring to. I don't remember.
Oh, okay.
We didn't do shows, but we had a bass player, a singer, and there was me.
You got a band?
We got a band, baby. Singer bought us all shows, tickets to go see Nirvana with the Breeders down in Miami. So I'm like, cool, hell yeah, da-da-da. But he sold them to, like, get his girlfriend a stupid present or some shit. And at this time...
Hey, wait, this was the singer?
Yes.
Of course he did.
And
Fucking singers.
I wasn't worked up because I didn't spend money, whatever. I'll see him next time. Yes.
You and everybody else in the
Yeah,
90s.
yeah,
I'll catch him the next time.
Next time. Reed, What's the coolest show you've ever been to in your entire life?
Like concert?
Okay. Yes, motherfucker.
Yeah,
I haven't been to many concerts.
not magic show.
I would say that. I would say that. The last Bonnaroo I went to was
Oh, you got to tell the story about the
Probably
girl with
Bonnaroo.
the
best
pizza.
one I've
Yeah.
been
You went to Bonnaroo, dude?
I've been to Bonnaroo like 5 times.
What a fucking hero story. I'm sure you
Hey.
got some.
You got to hear the story about the pizza girl.
All right, so sitting in this tent and front row seats,
Recharging the batteries.
and it's the talent show, and they're doing their thing, and all of a sudden this music starts playing, and this girl comes walking up mid row, and she walks up on stage. She's dressed as a pizza,
A pizza.
A
a
pizza.
pizza slice,
A pizza.
and there's a song playing, and it's like orgasming pizza, and there's a chair on the stage, and this woman is like straight up like starts getting freaky with this pizza suit on, and
Starts digging for them keys.
she's on the couch, and she does, man. She's digging for the keys, and it builds up. The song builds up. She's building up, and the song ends, and she squirts all over everybody.
What?
All over everybody.
Bonnaroo?
Yeah.
That's Bonnaroo for
Yeah.
you, right?
It was
Are
awesome.
You serious?
I'll drink to that.
How much pizza? How much pizza do you think that bitch eats every night?
Oh my! Just to get into
She
character.
loves it that much.
Just to get into character. Joe, what are you drinking tonight, man?
It blew my mind.
Pizza slut. So today, I actually went and I was going to grab some day tripping from Swamp Head, but it's
One of the best brews.
It's the time of year where they're switching their seasonal, so I couldn't get it. But I do have in my hand a product from the Tampa Bay Brewing Company.
Let's go.
An American Pale Ale called Reef Monkey.
I think I've seen you drink that just about more than anything.
Oh, this
Yeah,
is
you've been on
a
that.
standard.
That's like your
This is
go-to.
good. It's one of the,
Much like the Monkey Rum is a go-to
Oh,
for me.
here we go.
Give
Hit
a
me.
shout out
Hit
to
me.
Monkey Rum.
Let's
What's
go.
up?
Let's go, monkey.
Monkey.
Let me taste that. You mind?
Get you some.
Go ahead. How I want to know how it is.
This is where good times
Fir-
are made.
first
Get you
impression.
some.
First impression. How is it?
Oh, that's good.
Is it?
That's some good
Yeah,
shit.
and that's an APA you said, right?
That's really
Yes,
smooth,
sir.
The
actually.
APAs are not bad. I like them better than IPAs.
As do I, because to my taste buds, and I've totally turned into a beer snob. They're a bit brighter than
Right.
the IPAs, which I like.
Because the IPAs are way more bitter.
Man, I'm gonna take I love IPAs. I will take a Big Nose, an Ursula. I will take
Ursa.
Yeah, yeah, man.
You're
yeah.
talking Little Mermaid over here, bro.
Sorry. Or Phoebe's twin from Friends, Lauren. I said that for you. I said that for you, babe.
Ursula.
But you know what? And I also
No,
like
that's-
Cigar City Highlight.
Super Troopers.
That's a very good IPA.
Oh, Cigar City is one of my favorite breweries, man. They're freaking awesome. That's Ybor City there. There you go. Still Tampa. Let's go.
I don't know what the fuck you guys just talked about at all. Beers? No. No. Give me the rum.
Good beers, though.
Give me the rum.
We like good beers and good rum, man.
I like.
If
good
I'm drinking
beers and I
beer,
cannot
it better be a
lie.
Coors Light. And the little mountains better be blue. That's all I know.
You need those mountains to tell you it's cold?
Well, it helps.
Does it?
A little bit.
I tell you what, I grab a
bit.
beer, I can normally tell if it's cold or not.
Yeah, but you don't care either. You were talking earlier about drinking a warm beer that had been in a fridge
I
was not
gave it
plugged
the old
in
touch test.
for a week.
I gave it the old touch test, and it was cold.
Well, that doesn't mean that the shit inside wasn't nasty.
That's a Bud Light, dude. That shit is practically water.
That's
Like, they ain't paying me nothing. Bud Light, that shit is fucking water, man. That can be like a staple right there. Oh, I need a water and a beer. Give me a Bud Light.
Bud Light. Make it a Bud Light.
Oh my God. So I know when you've gone to all these different Pantera shows, you've seen them like in their prime, you know, when they were the absolute best. Given that, was there ever a hope for you that they would like get back together, do it one more time, that kind of thing? Or were you happy with what had been and just say, you know what, I'm good with it?
So a few thoughts on that, and I'll keep it brief because I don't want to like bore people. But when Dime was taken from us, that was the end of Pantera, and you can't put Pantera back together. However, you know, I think there was like a whole generation of kids who never got to experience that music live. And Dime was very
And it shows.
Dime was very tight with Zach Wild. Dime actually had the Black Label tattoo put on his arm. Those guys were close. So it was, in my head, if you could have had Rex, Vinny, Phil with Zach doing a celebration of Pantera, perhaps that could have flown. But Vinny wanted nothing to do with Phil. And honestly, I get it because
Phil kind of got pretty.
Phil became a train wreck, if
Yeah.
we're being honest.
Yeah.
And he was doing white power salutes at Dimebag Daryl festivals.
Oh,
and
my God.
Yeah, like totally embarrassing, right? And then Rex Brown wrote a book and like trashed Vinnie Paul. There was literally a chapter in his book called "You Fat Bastard."
Interesting.
So if I'm Vinnie Paul, I don't want to go on tour with those guys, especially if they're going to drag my dead brother's name through the mud.
I mean mainly before Dime got killed.
Before Dime got killed, I always assumed they would get back together
Yeah.
at some point in the future. Yeah.
Kind of like Guns N' Roses. You know, we waited how many years for that?
But that I think we would have got the original Pantera back together. Guns N' Roses, it's Axl / Duff and some other guys, and there's even a chick in there. So it's cool. It's cool, but
It was still cool enough for you to
spend a shit ton of money.
well spend a shit ton of money, but more importantly,
You want to hear the story?
I want to hear the story.
Okay, so here's the story. So Guns N' Roses meant a lot to me. Legendary band, right? So they finally kind of semi-quasi get the band back together. That's Axl / Duff. Dizzy Reed never left Axl's side. So, and then all these new guys. And I'm like, all right, I got to go to it because it's going to fall apart again. And this is probably as close as it's going to
I'm
get.
surprised they've actually been going as long as they have been.
Just
so.
read today they're going to come out with new music.
Get the fuck out
For
of
real.
here.
And I bet it's going to kick ass.
I bet it is.
Especially if they get Izzy to write some songs. But
How long have they been?
Is that
writing
even in
now?
the cards?
who knows?
For Izzy?
Who knows with these guys?
Yeah, that's
The
true.
thing is, they don't need money. They need. So it's like if they feel like it, they'll do it. If they don't, they won't. So I spend, I don't know, $200-something per ticket. It's me, my wife, my brother. Or we go to Orlando. It's like 3 years ago. They're playing the Citrus Bowl. All right. This
Yeah.
is about a month after the Pulse nightclub shooting, so security is deep,
Crazy.
thick.
Absolutely.
That was nuts, dude.
And so I'm like, hey, it's cool because I spent a shit ton of money on these tickets, so they got to be good seats, right?
Wrong.
Wrong. Oh. So we get to this Citrus Bowl, and it was almost embarrassing. Like, if I hold out my arm and I raise my thumb, my thumbnail is about the size of the stage.
Oh, my God.
Oh yeah, we were way back. and me and my brother have decades of sneaking up front.
Yeah,
to
that's not
shows
gonna
together.
fly, bro.
It ain't gonna work. It ain't gonna work.
I can actually see the look on your face as you went to your seats like,
Fuck
what the
this.
fuck?
This is
isn't what we
this-
paid
this
for.
ain't happening.
No, I need
No.
to be down there.
And my sweet wife Lauren is not so brave, but she's kind enough. She's like, "Go ahead, go. I'll be here." And I was like, "Are you sure?"
I told you I would have been sitting back.
No, that's her being
I'd have been
smart,
like-
bro. She's like, I'm not going to jail. Somebody's got to bail you out. She's
You're
like, I
not
know
wrong.
what it is.
You're not wrong.
Somebody's got to get back for the kids tomorrow.
So me and Mike, we get to go down. We're going to the lower level so we can get on the floor. Well, it turns out there's only one entrance point to the lower level. Crap, right? And we go through and we're trying to do the whole like hold up your ticket and keep walking, but don't make your ticket kind of wobbly so
Yeah.
they can't read it. And there's
Right.
people behind, they'll just let you go.
Walk in like you own the place,
That's
like you're
right.
supposed to be there.
That's right.
Did
That's how a
not-
man does it,
Did
dude.
not work because
work.
they had rows of. You had it many times, so we're like, shit, this just isn't gonna work.
Just waving it in front of everyone's face.
Yeah. Didn't happen. Got flipped around. So we're like, crap. So we're walking around, and we're like, there's cops everywhere. Because, again, the Pulse nightclub was just a month prior. And finally we see it. There's a concession stand that is open to us po-folk. But in the back, it is also open to the floor. So it's like a hole. That's it. That's it. That's the path. But how do we do this? As Mike and I are sitting here pondering this big guy, and the inside comes up to this pallet of ice that was in front of us, grabs 2 bags, throws them over his shoulder, and starts walking them back to the far concession stand.
And Mission Impossible starts playing.
We didn't blink. We just grabbed 2 bags of ice, bam, bam, fell in right behind him, single file line. And we're walking. You can't walk too fast. We're nervous as fuck, but you walk too fast, it's going to stand out. Right. We're walking through. We get there. Mike slides through, and I hear, hey, do you guys work here? And some guy came running up to me. I turned around. I said, they told us to put these here. Boom. I put the bags on the guy's feet, slid between the tables, and I'm out. I'm there.
Front row, baby.
Woo!
That's
And I got
awesome.
the pictures, the video.
Beautiful.
It was good, but holy shit, do they make it hard these days?
Yeah. Joe called me the next day or the day or two later, was like, "You're never gonna believe this," and I was like, "No, I would believe that, like
Welcome to the
100%."
Dude, that's fun, man.
It is. Hey,
That's good trouble, right?
so
Yeah, absolutely.
so many years sneaking down up front to concerts. And I love that I did that, Nick. And thank you for bringing that up because I love music so much. I'm glad I got to see a lot of these artists when I could, because many of them have passed on,
Yeah.
or they're just not around anymore. So,
Well, I think it's also smart to note what today is. Today, we are recording this on Friday. It's Friday the 13th.
dude. Ah!
Friday the 13th.
I wasn't aware of this. I didn't even realize
Yeah,
it. Nick
yeah.
had to bring that to my attention.
and there is a full moon out.
Yeah.
So that means that we need to get naked and have.
No, we should
Oh,
go hunting.
oh,
We should go
oh.
hunting. What are you talking
Hunting.
about? Yes. We should go hunting.
What is?
With
I
a
think-
Bowie knife.
I think Joe was trying to take that a different route. I don't know what just happened.
First gator we see.
So, are you guys fans of the movies?
Friday the 13th.
Friday the 13th.
Of course.
Jason.
I haven't seen
Of
the
course.
newest one, which you said was fucking phenomenal, and I believe it.
Wait. What? No.
No, is that not Friday the 13th?
No.
This is Jason.
No.
Who's that? Who's
No,
Friday the 13th?
no, the
guy?
one. No, you're right. It is Jason, but I didn't say the new one was phenomenal because it's not.
Oh, it's not.
The new Halloween
That's what I meant.
is phenomenal.
Right. Yeah.
But that's Mike Myers. That's different.
So
is it different?
Yeah, we're talking Hockey Mask.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
Jason.
Sorry.
Yeah.
Yeah, you're right. Yeah.
everybody's favorite horror movie. Read.
Evil Dead.
Oh, it's a classic.
Yes. But
Wait,
that's
wait.
not scary.
Wait,
I mean, it's
If you're a kid, yeah.
are you
Dude,
talking?
it's like you used to find me beautiful once. Well, you got real ugly.
that's Army
baby.
of Darkness. That's Army of Darkness.
But they're all
This-
kind of
that
go
guy.
together.
yeah, but that's a third one. It's a little bit
Evil
different.
Dead will fuck adults up.
All right, but are you,
The Necronomicon.
are you talking
Yeah,
about
the
the
Necronomicon.
original?
The original.
The original, not the
Yes.
remake.
Not the
that
remake.
Raimi did.
No.
Okay. I'll accept that. That's a
Bruce
creepy
Campbell
fucking
is the
movie.
greatest.
Dude, the
human
Vines.
being of
The
all time.
Vines was.
Oh my goodness.
Is that
What
the,
the fuck is going on?
Is that the one where the witch goes, "I'll swallow your soul"?
Army of Darkness.
All right,
Army,
all right.
which is the third,
Why
Yeah,
is that
yeah,
the
yeah.
only one we remember?
because it had the best lines. Give me some sugar, baby.
Yeah, give me some
All that
sugar,
shit.
baby.
Oh, it's
You
classic.
used to find me beautiful once. Well, you got real ugly,
baby. You got real ugly. Bruce Campbell's the man.
Dude,
I
he
love that
is
shit.
the man. You know he's in almost every Spider-Man movie. With Stan
Well,
Lee.
Well, Sam
What-
Raimi directed him. The same guy who directed Evil Dead.
Right.
and
Oh
Army
yeah,
of
that's what it
Darkness.
was. That's what it was.
So he found a way because Bruce Campbell was his guy.
Dude, Bruce Campbell is the guy.
He's the man. I love
like
him.
he's probably. I think they're making a new one. I think
Nah,
Bruce Campbell's going to
what?
be in a new one. Yeah.
Well, they were doing Ash vs. Evil Dead. They had a TV show.
Yes,
going
they
For a
did,
while.
and I watched the.
I
fuck out
like
of
it.
that. I did too.
I
I,
like
think they're
it a
going to make
lot.
a new movie.
I'd fucking watch it if they do.
Does he have the chainsaw arm? This
He
time?
better.
I like this is my boomstick.
Yeah.
Yes,
See again,
come
Army
on.
of Darkness.
I know, but it's the
Classic.
best.
I've never
Classic.
seen Army of Darkness.
Whoa.
What, bro?
I don't think I've seen that one.
Got to get.
Holy
You got some homework
shit.
to
we
do.
Should, we
Reed.
should turn the podcast into like one of those Mystery Science 3000
Yes.
3000 things.
Just watch that
and we
movie.
just sit and watch Army of Darkness
Dude,
and
that'd
comment
be-
on it.
I'd be down for that.
That'd be fucking kind of cool.
I can do it.
All right, Cody. Favorite horror movie.
Favorite horror movie, dude?
Horror, not
See,
horror.
see,
horror.
here's a little known fact about Cody when
Yeah,
it comes
for
to
real.
horror movies. He's kind of a pussy.
I just don't do like demonic stuff. If it's like demonic possession, like it's not for me, man. Like
Wow.
that's too gross for me.
Getting a little too inside the old skull, huh?
Yeah, a little too
All right.
much. But if it's more like anything, it's like I don't know. I don't have a
Serial
favorite.
killer?
Yeah, like I'm cool with that. Like I'll watch that shit all
Like
day
you'd be
long.
good with like a Nightmare on Elm Street,
Right.
kind of Freddy
Like,
Krueger.
Yeah, that kind of stuff.
That's
No
good.
worries,
know?
bro.
Yeah.
Or
I can see
the
that.
new Halloween you were talking, or like
Yeah.
I would watch the fuck out of that. It'd probably be an amazing movie. But whenever you go into like demonic possession stuff, that stuff freaks me out.
Yeah. All right.
But favorite horror movie, dude? Man.
what was that Emily Rose, that demonic possession from like 5 years ago that was popular?
The Exorcism of Emily
Exorcism.
Rose.
Emily
Yeah,
Rose.
that was
Exorcist and stuff?
strong. That was good.
Yeah, that stuff's
That
just
was
a little
alright.
too close to home for me, bro.
See every
Have
scary.
you been
been
possessed by a
exorcised?
demon?
I've
Yeah.
never been possessed, but I mean, dude, I've
Every
seen people who I thought were possessed and shit. And
That's meth. That's meth.
Every
Oh, okay.
every
People-
scary movie nowadays, they put in those weird contortion
Yeah.
moves and shit, and that's
it's a little freaky.
that's really sort of what drives it home nowadays. Where
I don't think I have a favorite horror. I don't have a favorite. Maybe what's the one where they're all out in the desert and it's
The
oh my
Hills
God.
Have Eyes.
Yeah, that movie was kind of
that's
cool.
good.
That was kind of cool.
Yeah.
that's some weird wacky shit there, which
Hey.
apparently is based on a true story. The Hills Have Eyes.
Is that true?
It's based on a true story.
Oh
Which
wow.
you ever seen the movie The Strangers?
No,
Where the
man.
guy he's got the what is the sack mask and shit with like the eye holes cut out. And he
I heard
just
that
sorta-
wasn't scary at all.
Well, at the beginning of it, it says based on a true story,
Oh, so it's got to be scary then.
and so I watched this movie and I'm like, what the fuck? How is this based on a true? This would have made national news all over the place. So in the beginning of the movie, this girl walks up and she knocks on the door, seemingly to see who's home and who's that way they can initiate their plan to
I'm already
break into the
scared.
house, right? Well, that was it. That was it.
That's the movie?
No, that's not the movie. The movie went on and people died, all that shit. But the true story part of it was the director was home one night and some girl came up, knocked on his door. He answered the door. I think she asked him some kind of weird question and then took off. And that was it.
That's the
true part.
Gotcha.
Did you guys ever see the Texas Chainsaw Massacre?
That's
The
my
last- That's
favorite.
probably my
That's my
favorite.
favorite.
horror
That's Joe's
movie.
favorite.
The original, because I loved it. How
I already knew that.
Well, I don't like the original. I like the
Whoa,
last one they
no.
came out.
Oh,
with.
you gotta-
That
you
was
gotta-
like more
No.
realistic.
With
I-
the
listen,
Toby
yes,
Hooper.
with
is
the
that his
big
name?
old knockers.
right.
Hey, I like some of the newer ones too, but the original with the grainy
Oh, the
ass
grit, the
film,
grainy,
yeah,
yes.
man, it's, so
It's something
real.
about that, doesn't it, right?
Yes, yeah.
Yes.
And
That's
like,
why I love the original Halloween. Halloween's my series.
know
I
that,
know I know Texas Chainsaw Massacre is yours. I love them, but
But that's based on a true story as well.
well, kind of, sort of, not really.
It's a bunch of stories
It's like Ed
mixed
Gein.
together. Yeah,
It's the serial killer Ed Gein.
I don't know. I'm not
based
aware.
out of Texas. He
This is the guy.
You don't
huh?
know about Ed Gein,
Dude, bro, horror
Man,
movies
it's-
is not for me,
It's
bro.
Friday the 13th with the full moon. We're gonna go dig up some corpses and wear their skin so that we can get in the zone. Because that's what Ed Gein.
You know, I need to channel my inner my inner horror
hey,
movie.
it's part of growing up.
yeah. all of that
You
stuff
old
about
bastard.
all that stuff about cutting faces off and wearing their faces and all
Yeah.
that shit. That was true. That was some serial killer named Ed Gein years and years ago.
Making belts out of nipples.
See,
Yeah.
I like the psychological thrillers. You know what I mean? Like what's the one where the
Silence
guy?
of the Lambs.
Yeah, Silence of the
Yeah.
Lambs.
Where do
Like,
you
those are
come
good.
down on the Saw series?
The first one was awesome.
I never got into those.
The first one I really enjoyed, and then after that it lost me because it lost its whole. Like, if you didn't know what happens in the first one, you watch it, and then at the end you're just like, "Whoa, man!"
I've never been
No,
one
the
for
first one was awesome when he cuts off his leg.
Yeah, dude. Like,
spoiler
how
alert.
visceral? How visceral is that? Spoiler alert! How old is that movie? Jesus Christ! But I mean, like, it's just so like visceral, you know. Like, that's real stuff. Like, what would you do in that situation? You know, I watch most of these horror movies, and I'm like, God, you're a dumbass. Like, why would you do that? Like, that's what
wait
you
a
do.
minute. Wait. I'm going to
You
tell you.
tripped. You
Hold on.
dumb fucker.
Hold on right there, because I'm going to tell you a story about a dog. It was a gigantic fucking dog. He
You're
was a
talking about
Rottweiler.
That's the same movie Sandlot.
No. No, I'm going to tell you, this is a true story. True story. So, growing up, I lived in this little neighborhood backed up to a car lot, a used car lot. And at this used car lot, they had a big-ass Rottweiler that guarded the lot at night. Well, at some point, this dog figured out how to get out. So, walking down the street one day, my neighborhood, and I look up about 60 feet in front of me, give or take, and there's the dog. And he's looking at me.
Cujo!
And I see him, and the last thing I remember seeing him was when he dropped those front paws, and I saw him come. He started my way.
No.
And I was like, "Oh fuck!" Poof. I'm a little kid. I'm
He's gonna eat
13,
me.
14,
Like
and
Mamba.
I am literally running for my life.
Yeah.
I am certain that I'm gonna die. I ran about, let's say, 15, 20 feet. Guess what? I fucking tripped.
Oh shit!
I shit you not. I tripped. I land face down in the dirt. The first thing I can do is I start screaming.
That's all you can do.
The highest pitched squeal you
Exactly. I start screaming.
some help.
The dog is coming. The dog is coming. Ah, help me. And with that, I look up and I see my neighbor. He comes running out of the house. It was an old guy. His name was Buzz.
Oh, I
That's
love
a cool
that name.
Yeah,
Yes.
That's a cool name.
So Buzz comes running to my rescue. And there's no fucking dog anywhere to be seen. There's no fucking dog.
Boy, you're too young for that weed.
I don't know where
for the
dog
devil's
went.
lettuce.
I don't know where this goddamn dog went, but he was not chasing me. And in that moment, I thought to myself, holy shit, it's true. These people that are running for their lives in horror movies, why the fuck did I trip? I'm 13, 14 years old at the time. I'd never tripped over my own feet. Here I am running for my life, and I trip? Are you fucking
Let me tell you the
kidding me?
key. This is how you don't trip. You don't look back, bro. You just fucking zoot it out.
I never
Like, you just
look
keep
back.
going. You don't look back, bro.
I never
You just
look
keep
back.
Going.
I ran as hard as I could.
Yeah.
You gotta have a good posture when you're running fast.
Yeah, Forrest.
See, I
You
was
guys
a-
ever seen
was a
Terminator
shitty
3?
athlete.
You know, whenever that fucking Terminator's running after him? That's perfect running for him, by the way. You guys ever watch that movie? And that Terminator's running, dude. He's got the
Which
liquid
one was
metal.
3?
The
That's
liquid
2.
metal. Is that 2? Oh, yeah, Terminator 2. I'm sorry. I watched the whole fucking
You could be
all
mine.
of them the other day.
Guns N' Roses.
Great fucking
Anyways,
song.
that guy
Love
runs
that song.
perfectly. You guys don't know how to run? Watch that movie, and you'll be like expert level by the end of it.
So that's your advice to people out there trying to get into fitness and run to watch a movie? All right.
That's one. That's if you want to learn proper form. That's
Listen,
one way.
I watch
and be
a-
entertained.
I watch a
maybe
lot of
Joe.
movies.
Maybe Joe.
And I am not in shape, so I think there's a flaw in your logic.
No, I know, but you didn't take that to heart, bro. You didn't watch that guy and be like, "Damn, this machine knows how to run."
I took it to heart, and I was like, fuck, we're going to have like machines rising up one day. This is going to be terrible.
You think that's possible?
Yes.
Yes.
Like,
yes.
would you
Yeah,
think
yeah,
that
yeah.
the machines will be like, "Listen, we don't need you anymore."
Yes.
Well,
What are you talking about?
so if you
Reed
Too hot on that thing.
Reed is not a cyborg.
I am not a cyborg.
He's not from the future.
hey, so they already have had to shut robots down for inventing their own language
Yeah.
and communicating.
Isn't that
with one another.
incredible? That was Google?
Yeah, but the thing is, let me just throw this out there. You know, we got $3 million instruments, okay? And I've worked with them. They're called NMRs, and they're beautiful, right? They can do they're great instruments of science. But you have to work on them constantly to keep them running. And they're millions of dollars. They're worth millions of dollars. Do you honestly think that right now we're to the point where this machine can
I don't know about right now.
Not in the physical sense, but in the realm of where it's viable, which is the internet and anything that has to do with the machine, it could do that.
Especially if you allow for the future, because I feel we're being very naive if we don't allow for the possibility of that occurring.
But that seems to be the goal where technology is concerned. I mean, you got these self-driving cars and stuff like that. Like, those things have to make decisions. So you have to enable these machines to make decisions, which ultimately can allow them to
Destroy the human race.
adapt, I suppose, right? Like, is that...
I don't think so.
You don't think so?
I mean, maybe in the future, but
Maybe,
not
yeah.
right now. But we are growing at a huge
technology grows
exponential rate.
exponentially.
Yeah,
So I guess it's possible.
it's
Which
possible.
means it multiplies on top of itself.
That's
So.
fucking
Education.
crazy to think about, though. You know?
It's kind
You
of
really
crazy.
think about it.
Well, that's one reason why some of those guys, those Dems, are talking
don't make 'em
about
bulletproof.
that UBI stuff.
Yeah.
Because that's really what they're talking about. I mean,
Right.
granted, I don't agree with that whatsoever. I'm all about free market. and
I'll
capitalism.
admit, man, I've been listening to a lot of that stuff. You know, a lot of different podcasts. Obviously, been listening to Rogan's podcast. He's been interviewing a lot of different candidates. Listened to him talk to Gabbard and Yang as well, both, and they were both talking about the UBI stuff and universal basic income.
Yeah.
And I will say that I think that they bring up some good points, and that's what I love about the podcast form, is that there's a chance to actually explain it and try to connect.
Yeah.
You know, with try to connect the listener with what the actual message is, and not just this little
See, I don't think we're
10
there
second
yet.
soundbite.
I don't think we're
I don't
there
think
yet.
we're there yet either, but I think Yang made a good point when he was talking about it, and he said that it's better to get the jump on it, and I do agree in with that. In just in general, most cases, like, you want to be ahead of the curve. You don't want to be showing up late to the game.
Especially
going,
in politics.
All right, well, now we
because
got to start.
You know how things get bogged down in political realms.
Of course,
and
of course.
If one thing that you think would be simple to pass, it turns into
and
a
it takes 10 years to
fucking
implement.
thing that takes 10 years to just get through, and then you got to wait another 10 years for it to be implemented, and then that's 20 years before fucking shit gets done. You know.
See, this is how you talk politics right here. Respectful, just engaging ideas. Thoughtful
you
exchange
didn't let
of
me
ideas.
you didn't let me jump in because I was about to call all you guys racist
Against
and,
machines.
and then blast you guys on Twitter. That's how you do politics in
That's-
2019.
Oh yeah. Excuse me.
Yeah, I got to figure it
Oh,
out. Dude.
that's right.
I know.
I forgot.
Yes,
Don't you
my
love that's where you got to go, right? It's like
you got to call somebody a name. You got to
Yeah.
come up
Yeah.
with a name for them, put them
Yeah.
in a box, and
Yeah.
dismiss all of their ideas.
let me label
That's
you
the
and
key.
dismiss you.
Which
Yes.
is it's just a weak ass excuse. It's a way out without actually having to engage with other people.
That's what it is.
It's a
and
viable
way to
point, but I
silence
just
people.
don't think we're there.
No, I don't think we are
Yeah,
yet.
and I think the conversation, all these conversations need to happen. But isn't it sad that the people having the conversation aren't having it on what is best for our society? They're having it on what's best so that they can get in power for a brief amount of time. That's the goal.
That's true.
Unfortunately.
Well, what do you mean they need like a different the platforms? are
I'm
going
just
on,
saying.
or-
I'm just saying. Like John F. Kennedy had one of his nominees to the Supreme Court shut down by the Democrats, right? And he was a Democrat. Hey, can you even imagine that?
Yeah.
Now, no,
Not
you
nowadays.
can't.
No, that doesn't
No,
happen.
Not at all, dude. Not at all.
You just toe that party line, and that's it.
For sure. Or
doesn't
you're
matter.
out the club.
Yeah.
You got no money, no
Yep.
funding. See
I
ya.
mean,
Bye.
He's dead.
That he is.
Like-
So I guess that's how that worked out for
I mean,
him.
at least it wasn't like one of those Hillary Clinton suicides. You know what I mean? Or Bill Clinton suicides.
I'm waiting. You know how once you use a word enough in pop culture that eventually Webster's is just sort of forced to.
Suicided.
So I'm waiting for suicided to get entered in. Kind of like literal. How they changed the definition of literal.
no, I didn't.
What?
Yeah.
How do you change the definition?
Because
of the
people
word
are
literal?
using it wrong.
Because people use it wrong. They just say, "Oh, I was literally going to die when they dropped my
okay.
fucking coffee."
And language is evolving always, so
Isn't
they
that
got to
slang?
update it.
Isn't that slang?
Until
Well-
if it's in a dictionary,
Literally
is
is
it
used
slang
as a
language?
sarcastic sense
yeah.
now,
Yes.
and
How
not
is
as
that?
a-
How has that changed the definition if you're being sarcastic?
Because they've included both definitions. So now literally means what literally means. and what it doesn't mean. It means this. Both of them are the correct
I'm just gonna say,
definition.
literally, you're blowing my fucking mind.
Yeah. I couldn't repeat what I just said
Literally.
back to you if I wanted to. So
But you were right. And
literally.
you know what? You know, I saw something about someone complaining about text language, like you emoji and all this. But isn't that what written language and language itself always does, is grow, evolve, and expand?
Right.
Yeah.
It's not static. It never stays the same.
Yeah.
Food-
Unless
food
you
for
live
thought.
in a socialist country.
Bernie.
Feel the burn.
Because then no one gets to win. You look at Russia, bro. Back whenever we were in the Cold War and stuff, man, we had all kinds of fucking awesome new technology, and they were sitting in the fucking Stone Age, bro.
Lined up for bread.
Yep.
Reagan's talking about Star Wars, like
Yeah,
making
we're
his
going
own
to
Star
space,
Wars,
bro.
Oh my God. You know what though? If I lost my thought, I lost my fucking train of thought.
You know what?
But that's in a socialist country. Nobody wins. Everyone loses.
Yeah.
Because, like, say, we're not a socialist country, obviously, and look, we got guys like fucking Elon Musk who
Hopefully
brought us
not.
the Tesla,
Hopefully we
who are
don't
trying
end
to
up
take
there.
us to Mars and trying to do all this stuff. This isn't our government. We don't need our fucking governments to do
It's an
these things.
individual. You're,
Yeah,
you're
right.
you're on point. It's an individual, and we need to nurture that and grow that so that we can have these wonderful inventions
Exactly.
and this progress.
Yeah, that's how we
because
grow as a
it's not going to
civilization.
be a government that makes that happen.
Right. Yep. It's the people. It's the people who want this stuff,
Yep.
and it takes someone who has that kind of wealth to be able to do those kinds of
Wealth,
things.
imagination,
Right.
intelligence, communication skills, all of that. And guess what? Governments don't have that. They got the wealth because they got money from you and me.
They got some speakers too, man. They know how to talk.
Vote for me. The other side's bad. Rawr.
Rawr. My way or their way? My way is better.
That's really what that's it. That's politics today in its simplest form. Just,
But that's what we have to deal with, because whenever we elect these candidates, we our civilization, like we collect that data that they supply for the people, and then we push on to next. What else do we need? What else do we need?
And for
What
the
else do we need?
record, I think we can all say, like, I mean, we're sitting here talking politics, so we might as well talk politics a little bit. I mean, none of us are
Yeah,
none of us
booze,
are
right.
none of us are lining up to join the socialist movement. I don't believe.
Not me, man.
No, because that would be stupid, and they're not stupid. So there you go.
How do you really feel though?
Socialism works if you have like bajillions of people and you want to have a hive mentality.
What is the
I don't
Margaret
think socialism
Thatcher?
works at all. I mean, I don't know if it
There's that
has
Margaret
worked.
Thatcher quote. The problem with socialism is eventually you run out of other people's money. I think that's pretty
I actually ran into a guy last year. My wife and I, we go to Halloween Horror Nights every year, as you guys know.
Yeah.
Coming up soon. And we actually had a guy who was from Venezuela as our Uber driver that night going over to the park. And I'm a let's just ride in silence. Like I don't need to make small talk, like just take me to my fucking destination. I'll tip you well and give you 5 stars and we'll call it a day. Katie, on the other hand, she likes to engage in conversation.
Were y'all drunk?
No, this was heading 2, so we
Then yeah, you're silent.
Maybe had a drink or 2. Yeah. Oh yeah, on the way home, I'm a ball of laughs, But on the way over, she had asked the driver a question about and he clearly had an accent. I think Katie asked him where he was from, and he said Venezuela, and she asked him about why he's here, and does he prefer being here to being home, and blah 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 blah, and he was just like, Venezuela is in ruins. Like it is a place that you just can't live. Like you cannot live and be successful and actually live a full and fulfilling life. And so that guy got out, came to fucking Florida, and became an Uber driver, and is working during the day to try to get every one of his family members over here.
Wow.
Because it's just a shithole. Now that is not media
His words.
related.
His words.
That's not. Yeah, it literally was his words. But that's not anything like I only put so much stock in the shit you hear in the fucking news because there's always a slant to it, and I get that. This is just a dude working hard, trying to fucking make a better life for himself and for his family.
Telling you like it is.
And he's just giving it to me like it is. Like, why am I going to sit there and, I'm not going to sit there and look at him and be like, oh, yeah, he's got an angle here. No. This guy's just trying to better himself, better his life. And so he came here where he's got some fucking opportunity to do so. So when people turn
That's how it should be.
and they're like, oh, no, it's not as bad as the media makes out. No. Well, okay, maybe not. But here's a guy who's from there, who has a little bit more at stake than any of us, and knows a little bit more about it than any of us listening to the bullshit that we're being fucking spoon-fed on the fucking news every day.
Did you guys see Pamela Anderson on The View
Sorry,
the other
I'm a little
day?
fired up today.
Did I see Pamela Anderson on The View the other day? What kind of bullshit question
What?
is that, man?
Did you guys see that?
I've never seen the what?
Okay, so Pam Anderson was on The View the other day.
You need to get it. What are you
Check
doing
this
with
out.
your life?
Listen,
Did
bro.
you see it?
What are you
I did. I
doing?
watched this shit. And
I watch Howard
Holy
Stern on The
Christ.
View. I will
listen,
admit.
man, check this. Pam Anderson was on The View the other day, and Senator John McCain's daughter was on there. And Pam Anderson's is like real good buddies with the dude that had all the WikiLeaks stuff.
Julian Assange.
Yes,
Assange.
that's like her neighbor, one of her best friends. And Julian Assange, as you know, dropped dirt on everyone to let the people understand that what our government is trying to keep from us.
Yes.
You know what I mean? That's what he did.
It
He
didn't
went
work
there
out so
trying
well
to-
for him, though.
No, he's screwed. Of course,
it often doesn't
yeah.
when you go
When
against the
would it?
government.
When would it?
Where is he in jail? Does anybody know?
So he is in jail. I actually read something, believe it or not, 2 days ago about the mysterious disappearance of Julian Assange because the media just won't talk about it.
Yeah, of course not.
Just won't
But that's
talk
how
about
it goes.
But that's not how
Once-
it's supposed
once a-
to go.
once a
It
subject,
shouldn't be that way.
like let's talk about Jeffrey Epstein. What happened to that story?
Well,
this
they
is
killed
a little
him,
different.
and so all of his rich, powerful buddies
Right.
who are fucking children are now free.
But
They're-
what-
they will never
Exactly.
be
But that's
brought
what I'm
to
saying.
justice.
Not
What-
yet.
What happened
Hopefully
to that
one
story?
day.
There was
Trump knows that shit.
there was a fucking there was a call for
He probably does.
He does.
lynchings to find this shit out. Let's get these
And
motherfuckers.
that's our culture.
And then a
that-
hurricane happened in
that-
Florida, and everybody's like, "Oh, forget
It's like
about
the
this."
outrage of the day. The
Right.
outrage of the day.
Yeah, that's what we are reduced to.
But the Julian Assange stuff, the Pam Anderson talking to McCain's daughter,
Meghan McCain.
was fucking hilarious.
All right, what's
dude.
up? What happened?
Was,
What-
she,
So-
was she shutting her down?
Oh no, this what's her name? McCain's
Meghan McCain.
Meghan McCain, bro, is trying to slam Julian Assange, trying to slam him as a cyber terrorist and all this stuff, just because he's trying to bring the truth out to the people. And Pam Anderson's having none of it. And dude, she is drilling her with facts, dude. And it is just like
Real?
It's one of. I'm telling you right now, I had never been a bigger Pam Anderson fan until I watched this. I was like,
Wait,
Pam
I was
Anderson.
always a big Pam
Wait.
Anderson
I was like,
fan.
Pam Anderson, you're
Wait a
fucking
minute.
awesome. You're
Yeah.
fucking awesome. Don't get me wrong. But now I'm like, all right, sweetheart, you are fucking the greatest. Like, you're
Yeah.
fucking awesome.
I'm gonna have to check.
I mean, I
Dude,
think-
she handles it with such class.
I think
Really?
everybody
Like,
was a pretty
yes.
big Pam Anderson fan
But
back
dude,
in the
she
mid
is.
'90s.
It made me a fan again.
Okay.
It made me a fan again because I haven't thought about Pam Anderson, dude, since literally fucking early 2000s, 90s, and
right.
like she was way sexy then. She still is sexy for an older woman, but she's like, dude, man.
Got
You
the
went back
brains,
and watched
too.
some videos?
No, I didn't need to. That's in the old spank bank. I remember that shit. You know what I mean? Dude,
Also,
the way
the
she
second
handles her.
consecutive show that the Spank Bank has been mentioned
Yeah, man, I'm bringing
on
it.
the Porchville Podcast.
I mean, dude, what do you guys use? I don't know.
the internet. Like
I mean-
everybody else, the internet.
I can close my eyes and think of some sexy
I'm too,
stuff.
I'm
I
too
don't need
old for that shit.
Are you really?
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 Yeah, dude.
Close your eye. You can close your eyes and fucking picture some shit. And
Yeah.
You're good to go.
Yeah, like a normal
Fuck
human,
that.
Nick.
Fuck
Imagine-
that.
Yeah. An hour and
Fuck
a half,
that.
2 hours later, maybe.
Yes. If I disappear with my cell phone and my charger, you know what time it is. That's it. All right.
Hey, don't get me wrong, man.
I gotta go. I'll be back in time for dinner.
Nothing
Pumping-
wrong with that.
Just pumping out that man milk.
But especially, you got the old lady there, and you
As my wife walks by and hear Joe say, "Pumping out the old man milk." That's Oh my god!
It's another night on the porch.
Another
Yeah,
night on
man.
the porch.
We porching it. But dude, it was really awesome, and I think you guys would really enjoy it because dude, it's not a liberal or conservative thing. This is a all-encompassing issue, and that's the American people being lied to.
I agree.
And that's all freaking Pam's talking about in the thing, and it's just remarkable to hear all of these mainstream media hosts ask these redundant and just like they don't listen to a word she says. She says facts, and freaking then they ask her the same question over again, like they didn't listen to a word she said.
Dude, yeah, that is our media today as a whole.
Redundant questions. That's
And they're
100%.
asking questions not to get an answer, but rather to trip you up.
Yeah,
to get a reaction.
Yeah, so they get, look at this.
because it's like, oh, I just said this and explained it to you, and then they ask you a question on the exact same thing that you just sat there and explained.
Yeah, exactly.
It's like, what? Like, I don't quite understand. Like, first of all, you can't have an intelligent conversation with that if you say something and then they just didn't hear a word you said.
People don't listen to listen; they listen to respond.
Yeah, well, especially our media nowadays, they don't even give a shit about what anyone says.
yeah.
They don't know. They
True.
don't care. They want to spin their
They
narrative.
want their soundbite.
Yeah, they
That's
want to
it.
spin their narrative. Whatever they want to say, that's what it's going to be, man. Look at the
Which
Rude Boys.
is why I have absolutely fallen in love with this medium that we are doing right now.
Yeah.
Just the fucking podcast medium, because we can say whatever the fuck we want to say and put it out there in long form format. So, you know, we can form a thought, an opinion, and explain it and have a discussion, exchange ideas.
It's a beautiful description.
You know, and that's fucking awesome, man. It really
Amen.
is. You know, as opposed to just, 10 seconds of whatever
Bullshit.
that gets skewed and twisted and turned, so
Yeah, if you've got
what it is.
me saying something and it's out of context, it can sound like a million different things.
For sure.
yeah.
But if you listen to it in full and it's verbatim and freaking
All right.
it might be different.
Would it be cool with everyone if we moved on from politics and then I want to throw
Fuck yes. Fuck
want-
politics, dude. That shit's terrible, man.
in honor of it being Friday the 13th
Oh, boo.
and a full moon and all this beer that I'm drinking? What is the scariest moment of your life? Nick, we heard about you with the dog. I don't know if that's
I don't know
one.
if
That's
that's
pretty
the
good,
scariest
Nick.
moment.
Really?
Scariest moment.
You screamed.
I scream like a little bitch.
Hey.
I ain't gonna lie. I ain't gonna lie.
I want to hear Reed.
I want to hear Reed's.
wanna
Reed
hear
has been
Reed's.
quite quiet.
Reed has been a little, yeah.
You got to drink up, Reed. Get some-
Well, maybe that's the problem.
I don't
He
know.
was drinking some of that monkey a little while ago.
I don't know. I don't really know scariest moment ever.
Yeah, and just throw out one. It does. You don't have to do a chart.
A moment where you were just like, "Oh fuck,
I've got one.
All right.
this
all right.
may not end well."
So we're out on the farm, and
I like it already.
we're just trying to get settled. It's me and Mandy and the kids, and we start hearing some noises, and I hear a door open and shut. So I'm like freaking the fuck out.
What do you mean
know?
you start hearing some noises? What do you hear?
Like people talking,
People noises.
people noises.
Okay.
Right.
Not like.
No. So I'm sitting in bed wondering, should I get up? Should I do this? Should I do that? And I do.
Of course.
And it's pitch black. So I'm trying to find my way really fast, but I get lost in my room because I can't find shit.
Did you get the gun?
Well, I'm looking for the door. I'm looking
Jesus
for the door.
Christ. You can't find the door. It's probably not the best idea to go for the gun.
I couldn't even.
He
I
got
didn't.
lost in his
The
room.
gun was in the safe at the time. So I'm like, what the fuck am I gonna do? So I can't find the door. I'm scratching around the walls and finally find the door.
You ain't got a hide a safe?
Or a flashlight?
No,
A stick?
I couldn't find anything.
Let the
All
man
right.
tell
I
the
was
story.
scary.
Tell the
It was
story.
scary.
Tell your story.
So I hear, there was people talking, and I go to the kitchen. I'm scrunched down, and I jump into the island, and I grab a knife, and I crouch down behind the island. I'm thinking, okay, if this motherfucker comes through this door, I'm gonna jump on his back and stab him. And my
You're
heart's
gonna
just
jump on his back and stab him.
yeah.
That's gangster as fuck, Reed. See,
So-
I told you, Reed's badass.
So like I'm just
I knew
I'm just
that.
waiting there for like, a good 10 minutes. Just listening, thinking, listening and thinking. I mean, nothing ever came of it, thank God. But
you guys live on some
that
property?
shit was scary
I bet it was.
Wait, where were you when this happened?
at my house.
Do you guys have any property there? Or are you guys on
It's like
some-
32 acres.
So why was someone next to your house, bro?
Well, what we found out was that the neighbors were shooting guns down the
down
you
down the way. So they weren't even close to
acres
your
away,
house.
and we could hear them. We could hear their voices coming through the fields.
It's like echoing off the trees and shit.
just they were out there talking. They were probably partying. I don't know,
Right.
but we could hear them from a distance, and
It just sounded like they were right up on you guys, huh?
it sounded like somebody was whispering to us.
Wow.
But
That's crazy.
yeah, it was pretty freaky. But
Dude, I
we-
would have
we
walked out
learned-
there. I would have walked out there like, hey, get the fuck off my property, bitch.
They were miles away.
And you would have been yelling to nobody.
Yeah, exactly, though.
They're
But I wouldn't have been
acres away.
scared.
Look
I
at
wouldn't have been
Mr. Tough
scared.
Guy over here.
Bro.
You're one of them keyboard warriors, aren't you?
Negative, sir.
Yeah,
Negative, sir. You got me
you.
twisted.
Got
You
you.
got me twisted.
I've
big time,
been in
Joe.
a similar situation like that where I was laying in bed one night and I heard this noise, and I just knew that there was somebody outside in the carport. At the time, I didn't have a garage, just carport wide open, the washer and dryer area out there, car parked out in the carport and everything, and I'm hearing this banging noise, and I don't know what the fuck it is, but I grabbed, for the first time since I was a gun owner, I grabbed my gun, loaded it, and went to go investigate to figure out who was in my fucking carport.
Didn't that feel good?
It felt fantastic.
Yeah, I bet it did.
But it's still, I mean, it was still a very, heightened sense of like, oh shit, what's about to happen? And I walked out, and I'm hearing it. And it's getting closer and fucking closer and closer. And I walk out. I grabbed the door like, okay, it's time.
Yeah.
Go time.
Open and get it.
And I pulled that fucking door open, and I realized, well, that's right. My daughter had stepped in some mud puddles earlier, so we're drying her shoes. So all that buildup, no delivery.
But how is that? Is that,
But the shoes were dry, and they looked fantastic.
is that your scariest moment?
No,
Or is
scary.
it the
No,
dogs?
I gotta say
Scariest,
something because
well, let's hear Joe's.
well, prior to him knowing that it was Boots, that was pretty scary. Thinking somebody's like rolling around outside your house, right?
But
Well,
at the same time, the man had a gun in
Yes
his
and
hand.
no. I mean, it wasn't.
I've
was
never
gonna
been
shoot them
scared with a
shoes.
gun in my hand.
It really wasn't.
You haven't?
I didn't,
Never.
I didn't feel
That's the scariest times.
scared.
Never been
I
scared.
felt like I felt in control of the situation because I felt like, okay,
You could shoot somebody.
whatever's about to happen, like I'm gonna deal with it. If there's somebody, if I open this door, there's somebody on the other side,
Caboose.
and they come at
Well,
me,
not
man.
kaboosh. You can't just kaboosh if they're
well,
on the
if
other
they
side.
come at me,
Yeah, if they attack him,
I'm
he
gonna
could
fucking,
kaboosh.
I'm gonna
He's
shoot him.
coming
and,
right for us.
That's that. But
Sir, you shot him in the back.
leading,
He was doing the moonwalk.
leading up to it, it really wasn't that scary. Gosh, I would have to put some
All right.
thought in on that.
So,
One.
so my.
What about you, Joseph?
All right, I got. So this is the one that jumped into my head. So I'm living with my buddy Doug and Jason from Drop 10
Oh, yeah.
and Clay. We're living out in Lake Butler
Drop 10.
of all places, in this itty bitty house. And for whatever reason, at the time, I would sleep naked. I no longer do that, but
It just gets so sweaty.
Did Lauren request that you not do that? any
no, this
longer?
is years before Lauren. I didn't know about a Lauren back in 1999 or whenever the fuck this happened. But I'm in my bed naked and I hear a noise. It sounded like someone coming in the window of the bathroom. So I'm like, and I'm home alone, naked. And I had this itty bitty pocket knife.
Oh, okay. He's naked, itty bitty. I wasn't sure where we were going there.
Pocket knife.
Had a little pocket knife.
Pocket knife.
That
And
where
I-
did you have that pocket knife? At
It was
if you were naked.
it was like
Do you just have one on you?
I guess it was, but I had it. It was in my hand. I remember standing at the door of the bedroom, and I walked
butt naked.
So, and then sure enough, the window of the bathroom opens. Holy shit! And then I can very clearly hear someone trying to be quiet climb into the window through the shower, put their feet down. Yeah.
The whole time you're standing there nude.
And I'm like, if I had urine in my bladder, I'd have pissed myself because I'm terrified, right?
And you're standing there nude the whole time.
Naked, holding like a 2-inch pocket knife against like this massive killer that's rolling into my place, right? So it's a human comes through the bathroom and just they open the bathroom door and I like jump out. It's Jason. It's the singer. It's the singer of my band I'm in.
Oh, okay, cool.
And I'm like, what the fuck are you doing? He's like, what the fuck are you doing? Because I'm naked.
As you're standing there naked.
With a pocket
I'm
knife.
like, but you were coming. He's like, I didn't want to wake you up. I'm like, are you shitting me? Are you real right now? Get the fuck out. And my heart's going like this. I'm not going to go to sleep for a week after that.
Oh, my God.
That was mighty terrifying. So
that is.
Woo!
I don't even know what mine really would be. I really don't.
That dog story is pretty.
Yeah, the dog
story is pretty good. I mean, that was. I really thought I was gonna die that day.
Well, in the boot story, Cody, what you got? You got something scary?
I do, man, but
but what? We're friends here. No one's listening.
It's different, man. Like I got two right now. One is not really it's not a scary story, but it scared me here recently because I've been thinking about it here a lot, man. Thank you, Katie. Like, dude, whenever I was a kid, this is what I've been thinking about here recently, man. When I was a kid, I was riding my bicycle and I fell in the road, and a fucking car just almost ran over my head.
Oh.
And literally was like a couple inches
terrifying.
From running over my head. And
Holy shit.
It's scary, man. You know,
Yes.
like I'm thinking to myself, like, I have kids, man, and if something like that ever happened to my kid where his fucking head got ran over or something like that, I would lose my mind.
Jesus.
No.
You know?
Why
Like
did
that-
you verbalize that?
Yeah.
Well,
Jesus.
I've been thinking about that here recently, and that's like something that's, as a father, you know, that kind of stuff scares me, and it's
Yeah.
like that's what we have to accept as being a father is like our kids are going to put themselves in situations where they're going to have to be able to do it on their own without us, you know, and like that kind of stuff is scary to
See,
me.
that's the thing is
Because
that
I know how close I was to dying.
when you
like
bring
2 inches.
Shit.
when you bring
from
your
running
when you
getting
bring
my head
kids
ran
into
over.
the equation, then the likelihood for like absolutely horrifying
Yeah, it's even worse.
experiences increases exponentially. My daughter, for instance, we were in the mall one day, and my daughter was standing right behind me, and I turned around, she was gone, nowhere to be found. And
Wow.
for a second, that was the scariest moment. Like
I
ever.
I believe you.
Of course, she was
100%.
hiding in the fucking clothes rack,
Oh,
and
Jesus.
I think that was the first and
I did
last
that.
time.
I used to do that.
I did that too.
Every kid did that. Guess whose kids can't do that? This guy's. They go to grab a T-shirt. I'm like, don't you fucking get in there, goddammit. I swear to God, we're going to have a problem.
Dude,
like,
your heart just drops,
It does,
bro.
man.
It's like,
It did. It really, truly did.
So, if I can jump in, kid story. Hannah, all right, my daughter. One morning, I'm sleeping, and Lauren gets up earlier than I do. Well, I'm sleeping, but I see her like dart in.
Can't wait till Lauren hears that part.
Well,
she's
going
going to laugh.
She probably already knows what story I'm going to
I'm
tell.
talking about when just hearing you say, Lauren gets up earlier than I do, I can hear her go, no shit.
I'm in trouble right now. All right. So anyway.
Oh, yeah.
So
you're
so
fucked.
so she comes into the room and she's just moving a little quicker, and I know. So I'm like, what's the matter? She's like, I can't find Hannah. What?
Oh my
Whoa.
god.
Joe Herschel's on his feet in no time,
Whoa.
and I know nothing crazy happened because the dogs didn't go off, and we had Jack and Jill There ain't nothing going on with Jack and Jill.
It didn't
all right?
slow you down one.
Oh, not a second. Because where the fuck is Hannah, right?
Right.
But I knew like some crazy guy didn't come get her. But did she walk out the house on her own? She's like 4 or 5 at the time.
Oh wow.
So the first thing I do,
Oh wow.
I run to the front door. It's locked. Good. That means she didn't get out because she wouldn't have been able
Right.
to lock it behind her. But where the fuck is she? She's not in the room. Hannah, no answer. Where the fuck is our daughter? Right?
Holy shit.
Yeah.
Oh my! I'm like feeling anxiety right now.
Running
listening
over,
to this.
looking in the backyard. I go to her room. Her blankets are disheveled. I'm like, where's my daughter? So I get down and I look and I go deep under her bed, like way under the bed. And I see this little lock of brown hair.
Oh man.
And I'm like,
Jesus.
"Ah." So
Thank
in
God.
the middle of the night, she had gotten, and kids like to hide and
Yeah.
do and right.
Kid
Well,
stuff.
she fell asleep under there.
Oh, my
Holy
God.
shit, brother! Oh,
So did you wake her up, and get her out, and
Of course he
like-
did, right?
yes.
never sleep under the bed
No,
again?
Oh, come
Did-
on.
Didn't give her a hard time
Oh,
because I was just so thankful to A, find her,
Right.
B, that she was
Mom can do that.
God.
Joe's just like, thank God I didn't have to go fucking.
I really did. I felt a sense of anxiety.
my
just
son's
listening
done
to
the
that.
same
It was
thing.
wild,
Joe.
dude.
Have y'all ever
Never
forgot
fell
a kid?
asleep though.
Never.
Never.
Have
I've
you
been
forgotten a
forg-
kid?
I've been forgotten. I've been forgotten.
I feel
I
like-
need to hear about you
I feel like
forgetting your
Reed
kids.
has forgotten.
So
the
like,
kid.
we were in Walmart or something, and it was me, Gage, and Caden, and we're heading to the car, and
How old were they at the time?
I don't know, like probably 6 and 4.
Uh huh.
Young
And
still.
They both
man.
still sit in the back seat,
Oh yeah.
right?
Yep.
So usually they both get in on the same sides, and
That was a good one.
I
That
get
was
in and
dry.
I
It's like dry.
I hear Gage
man a
get
drink.
in. I hear the door shut. I start driving off.
No. No,
and,
you
and
didn't.
then
Reed.
about 5 seconds later, I hear a and I slam on the brakes, and I turn around, and Caden's missing.
Caden's the little one too.
Caden is the little one, and I'm like, Gage, where's Caden?
Oh my God.
Oh, he didn't get in.
You didn't think you'd tell me this before I
I'm like,
backed out?
oh my God. What happened? Did I
You
run
gotta look
over
out.
him?
Mandy's
Did I
gonna
run
kill
over
me.
him?
You got to look out for your old man. What the fuck?
Yeah.
So I jump out of the car. I go around to the back. I can't see him. I'm like freaking out.
Oh yeah.
I come back around. And he's just standing there with this look on his face.
Pissed
like,
off.
Holy shit, Dad! You just forgot me.
That's that's how what
Daddy
happened
was-
to Joe Dirt.
Daddy was just playing, son. Daddy was just playing.
That was horrible. That was horrible.
Did,
Oh my
how
God.
long did it take you to tell your wife that story?
She's gonna
She
hear.
still
it.
doesn't know.
She's gonna hear it when she hears this podcast.
Reed, I don't blame you. You might not recover from this one, bud.
This is the last time we're gonna hang out with Reed right here.
It was actually really bad. I felt horrible.
Yeah,
I'm sure.
I thought the door shut. Both of them got in. They usually whoop 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 whoop, and then
Is
they're
that
both
is
in,
that what you
door
did,
shuts.
Reed? You thought? Is that what you did?
I didn't
Oh,
think. I was just thinking.
Man.
No, it was the lack of thinking. That man just was like, he was an autopilot and was like, yep, kids are in, ready to go, baby.
Hey, one less mouth to feed. Let's roll.
Oh my God.
You win, son.
You are the chosen
Oh
one.
my goodness. I've never forgotten a kid.
I only
job.
forgot him for 10 seconds.
For 10
It
seconds.
counts.
Yeah.
It counts.
It's gonna count when Mandy hears it.
Yes, sir.
I was on a field trip. I was on a field trip whenever I was in like 6th grade or something. We went to this water park, not Wild Waters, but something like that, Wild Adventure or something next to Busch Gardens. And dude, we had been there all fucking day. We left, whatever. We the last place we went to was this little like playground water park area. And like, so our whole class is on there. Well, I'm over there fucking playing around, doing all this shit. Well, eventually, I don't see any more of my classmates, dude. Like, I'm like, where the fuck is everyone at? And I've been there playing my ass off, and then all of a sudden, I'm just like, where the fuck are my classmates? And I walk around, I'm like, damn, I don't see nobody. These motherfuckers left me, dude. They left me. The whole bus was halfway home. It was like an hour drive. They were like 30 minutes down the road before they even realized I was gone.
No head count.
I was gonna say they didn't
Exactly.
do a fucking.
They
head
didn't
count?
do a head count until they were almost home.
Oh
And
my
then they
God.
realized they were down one.
Hey, it happens. It happens.
So you had made friends at this bar.
Oh, bro,
and
I
you're
had a
like
great
crushing
time.
beers. You got chicks the whole night.
No chicks, no nothing like that. But I had a great time. But
I think this was a school trip.
yeah.
Didn't you
Oh,
say? So you
this
were a
was
kid.
yeah, this was a school trip, and I was like in 6th grade or something.
Yeah,
like that.
yeah.
But so
Not
I
all of us were slamming beers in the 6th grade, Joseph.
right. But it was like
Why you got to kink shame me?
I still had a great time, bro. Like we were on the playground doing our shit and like wet and wild doing all. I was still doing all the slides. I had like 30 minutes, 45 minutes before they freaking got back, so I went and hit some more slides.
What's up, bitches?
Oh, that's
Dude,
awesome.
they were like the people. So I went and found some people who worked there, and I'm like, hey man, they forgot me. You guys can get in touch with them somehow. I'll be back.
By the way, I'm going to need a sandwich.
But it was cool, man. And then my teachers, whenever they got there, they're freaking the fuck out. They're like, "Oh my god!" I'm like, "Yeah, what the fuck y'all doing, you stupid asses? Y'all didn't." I'm in 6th grade, telling them they didn't do a fucking head count before they left. Like, get the fuck out of here.
So I went to the YMCA summer camp for like 2 years when I was like 12, 13 years old. I put the fear of God inadvertently into my camp counselors because we went to the beach for a trip one day, and they were very clear. You stay together. You have a buddy, blah, blah, blah.
Buddy system.
I decided to just go off and take a nap. I was woken up by a helicopter going up and down the shore.
Wow.
Yeah, that was for me.
Holy shit.
Yeah.
Oh my god. Where did you take a nap at? Just on the beach?
On a bench on a boardwalk in Stuart, Florida.
Whoa. Bro.
Yeah.
How old were you?
12, 13 years
Wow,
old.
that's terrifying.
They
dude.
thought I
Holy
woke up and I
shit.
just like stroll on back to the camp. Man, did I get fucking yelled at?
So me and Kim went to Daytona, right? We went to Daytona Beach, and we were just gonna go do the Daytona beach night one day, and we had the kids with us and shit. And we were getting ready to leave, man, and we were packing our stuff up, walking up the beach, and all of a sudden, like, I'm kind of looking back at like where we were just leaving from, and there were these two dudes, man, that were just strolling through everyone's like kind of like campsites and shit. Like, or not campsites, but like where all their towels and beach stuff were, right? Just all of them. Anyone, if they had kids, they were walking up to them. It didn't matter. Well, these motherfuckers were strolling looking for kids.
No.
Yes. Dude.
No.
Yes.
What? No.
They were convicted pedophiles.
I think
What?
they
Yes.
should have been shot in the face
And,
immediately.
They were creeping
those
everyone
guys.
out, right? So me and Kim called the fucking law, or Kim
Good,
called the
good,
law, on
good.
them. And I mean this is how we
So,
found
but
out.
people are scared to take action, but
Oh, never,
action
dude.
needs to be taken.
Never, right? But they hadn't done anything.
Say something.
They
see
hadn't
something,
done
all
anything.
that
They're
good
just
stuff.
they're just the way they were acting around everyone's kid was like,
Malicious intent, man.
it was so obvious. It was so obvious. But
So-
they hadn't done anything illegal.
Except
You know
for
what I mean?
diddling some kids.
But
right?
what
You said they were pedophiles.
They were pedophiles, and the reason why we know this is because we called the law, and they apprehended them, and they then told us that, yes, thank you for calling us. These men are convicted pedophiles, and
They probably weren't supposed to be anywhere near that fucking beach.
yeah,
Get him out of there.
they weren't supposed to be there. But that's a big issue that they're. I mean, they were kind of like homeless guys. You know what I mean? But they were out there just fucking all the little kids. That's what they wanted. They were
Jesus.
anywhere there was, because we had our kids with us, right? And so, like, of course, we're fucking. I'm, dude.
Hawking it. Yes, sir.
I go anywhere, bro. My alert level is
Yeah.
fucking through
So
the
much
roof.
with you.
I
Through
am
the
hyper
roof,
vigilant.
dude. I mean, that's a typical dad.
I can't
move,
even-
You might
right?
be way over there, but I see
can't even-
where
I-
you're at.
because we don't want to
Yeah.
lose
who's
our
with
kids.
You know where
No.
they are at all
we
times.
don't want to lose our kids.
I can't even sit with my back towards a door. Like, I got to be able to see who's
Are you
coming
me?
and going
Yeah.
and all that stuff. Like,
That's the way I
swear
am.
to God.
But dude, it was crazy,
Swear
man.
to
Like
God.
that guy was it was two guys working together trying to fucking creep on some kids.
Hey, and
Now I feel stupid telling a story about forgetting my kid.
I thought you were gonna say. Now I feel
Nah,
stupid.
don't, man.
I feel stupid about
That's
me and my
real
buddy
shit.
walking around the beach one time. I thought that's where you were going.
No.
Never, dude. Never. Not Reed, man. Reed's
Oh
like
my
the coolest
God.
dude ever.
Oh
bro.
my God. No. I just, it is a matter of fact, with all the, the recent shootings and stuff like that, people just walking into establishments and opening fire. It's like, even my wife turns around. She's like, no. You need to be facing the door.
Yeah.
You
need to know where your exit.
So it's either so that I can protect or I can be the first one shot, and she collects on the insurance, one or the other.
Well, Katie, you have one of those? You got one of those life insurance on Nick? It's a good bet.
She just flashed the money sign.
Hey!
What does that mean?
Paper.
This Pepsi tastes a little funny.
All right,
I
so-
don't know what it is.
so
Cyanide.
I kind of want to switch gears here, Joe. You mentioned something earlier.
Yeah.
About your kid boxing.
Yeah.
What?
That's
yes.
right.
Yes.
Boxing.
Yes, sir.
That's the
So,
fucking great.
Little Halen
doing some boxing.
Halen has done baseball pretty much his whole life, and he's been in football for a few years as
And he's
well.
he's like a star in fucking baseball. He's like a stud. He's
mean,
pretty badass.
Every dad's gonna say that about their kid.
And
Your
he's
kid looks like a
he's an
baseball player.
all-star.
and he's a
He looks like
lefty.
Athletic.
He's a lefty.
He's a
young kid.
lefty. He's a pitcher. He's
So wait. Before we get too much
He's-
further,
he's
room
my
to develop.
retirement plan.
right? Before we get too much further
Got a lot invested.
into the boxing,
Yeah.
so your kid and your kid Reed, y'all's boys played a game together.
Yep.
Against each other.
Yep.
How'd that go?
In baseball?
I wasn't there, so
How'd that go? Who won?
Our team won, I think.
Hey!
but didn't my kid strike your kid out? Because I heard about
That's
that.
what I heard about.
That's what I heard about that.
That's what I heard about.
No, I wasn't there because we were on our way to welcome the Rockville.
Yep. Welcome to Rockville.
I wasn't there either. So.
We're fine dads.
You guys heard about that, though.
Yeah.
Dude, that would have been I'm telling you right now, if my kids are ever playing sports against my friends' kids, I'm going to be like, listen, I'm going to go there, and if my kid does anything else against your kid, I'm going to talk all the shit.
Exactly. It's like another level of, shit talking. So anyway, boxing.
yeah.
Lay it on us.
So he's like he's always been really good with the team sports, but Lauren and I have been we wanted him to have something where there's no excuses, buddy.
Right.
It's on you. You can't
Right.
blame your shortstop. You can't blame
Sure.
the coach for calling the wrong play. It's you.
One-on-one.
It's you. So, of all the individual sports, I wasn't going to have him do tennis or nothing against that. But, let's get it. Let's get conditioned. Let's be strong.
He's a pretty masculine kid.
Let's learn how to knock somebody the fuck out.
Right.
All right? There
A
we go.
valuable
That's
skill.
what I'm talking about, Joe.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. So, we
Now,
went down.
whose idea was it to do the boxing? Was it his idea? Was it your idea? And,
So
he was like, "Oh, I love that idea."
I floated the idea, and it was gobbled up. He's like, "Yes, I would like to try that." Cool, let's go. So we went down to this Gladden Boxing Club, and they do have a class for kids. He got worked the fuck out. They had him doing
it's rough, bro.
it's conditioning, sweating. And but now he's into
and
it.
that's just it's not like air conditioned gym.
No.
I mean, it's
actually a garage,
Yeah.
an auto garage
yeah.
that they converted, but
Yep.
they got a ring, they got everything in
It's
there.
the one over off 13th Street.
Bingo.
Not that anybody else listening knows what the fuck 13th Street is, but
That's
we
the
know.
place. That's the
Yeah.
place. And
13th Street,
So
It's
now,
across from the Army Navy store.
Yeah, Porchville.
so
Porchville.
but now he's watching, Tommy Hearns on YouTube and Sugar Ray Leonard and
Sugar
shit.
Ray, baby.
Yeah.
Nice.
Sugar Ray.
So he's locked in. And it's
Ali.
gonna help him with his conditioning, with his balance, and it's also gonna help him with his discipline. So he's doing that, and he's loving it.
So here's one of my keys, I think, in boxing, dude, is whenever you have to know when to go on that attack. And having some knowledge of how to box, you'll understand that timing a little bit better, dude. And then this is why Mike Tyson's one of my favorites, is because whenever his timing is there, he fucking knocks you the fuck out, right?
Oh, Tyson. Oh, he's the best.
Like, dude, it doesn't. All he needs is that one moment where it's his turn, and it's over, and he goes straight for the kill every time.
So I see fights, and often there's one participant who does not know how to throw a punch, and they're simply. It's just the weight of their arm. They're not really driving through.
Look at Ronda Rousey when she came back and had those last few fights. That was one of her biggest criticisms by people was, her boxing.
And her coach is talking about how good her boxing is the whole fucking time.
She may have been a fantastic fighter overall, but when it came time to stand there in the center and blow for blow, she failed. She lost.
I respect her, but she got into the movies and the WWE.
Her coach was saying she would beat freaking Floyd Mayweather.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
She bought the lie, and it cost her dearly.
Yes, it did.
She let her ego defeat her.
Yep. She believed the hype.
She can still kick any of our asses.
Oh,
though.
yeah.
I'm fairly certain of that.
She's a judo Olympian.
Oh,
A judo Olympian.
I'm good with it.
I would be fine with that.
I'd be okay with it.
You know what? I would love to fight Ronda Rousey. Let me Ronda Rousey come get this.
Watch you choke her ass out.
I'd love it.
My money's on you.
I promise you, I wouldn't be scared of Ronda Rousey, dog. I wouldn't be.
My money is on.
If I'm gonna fight anybody, I ain't gonna be scared of fighting them.
Cody ends up like a story he told last week, where he stands up with a fucking raging hard on.
I'd have
that'd
the raging
be
boner.
Cody's situation.
After I was done, I'd be getting
Yes,
my hand
I won.
raised with a rager.
No, you lost. No, I won.
It doesn't matter, but I won.
Oh, you lost.
I
But,
got-
but did I really?
Because my trophy's right here.
Did I really lose? I don't think I did. I don't think I did.
She'd probably slay my ass because she's probably no.
Cody, I love
probably.
you.
She
I
is
love
one of the
you.
best fighters in the
I
world.
love you, but I'm 100% certain she would slay your ass.
Yeah.
You would not be able to raise that beer bottle. She would stretch
break
that
my arm.
break
Oh
it.
my
she'd
God.
break my arm.
Shred it.
Oh,
I wouldn't let her. See, I wrestled,
I would
bro.
enjoy every
I know
minute of
these
it, though.
judo throws that she's gonna try to do. I know her trips. I know her throws. I would just stand and bang with her like Amanda Nunes did and bust her head.
Yeah, that's what you would do. Yes, that's exactly right.
That's what I would do too.
Yeah, just like Amanda Nunes.
Me
dude.
three.
I sense a lack of confidence in your words. I don't know. I could be off base.
Well, I think the solution is that we need to find you a sparring opponent. It's got to be a female. Like, let's just all go to the 24/7 Super Walmart down the road. You just attack some random woman in the frozen food aisle. We'll film it.
I'll take your lead, Joe.
And we'll link it.
I'll take your
No.
I'll take your lead, bro.
I'm an idea guy.
think-
That's what I do.
I think
That's my
I'm hearing that
contribution.
idea and I'm thinking it's kind of shit.
I'm thinking I'm going to jail.
I'm not gonna do that.
yeah,
ever.
I think this may be grounds for like premeditation
Yeah.
right here. I think
Yeah,
that may
that's
be
shit.
what this is.
Never
Hey,
gonna do it.
Hey, do me a favor. Hand me that monkey rum.
Yes, sir.
Beautiful
Ooh,
bottle
look at
of
that.
monkey rum.
There's not a lot left.
Oh my God.
We've been kind of on that.
We
pretty
all
hard
know
tonight.
the porch rules, gentlemen. The porch. There's not a lot of rules on the porch, but one of the rules on the porch is you can drink as much of this shit as you want to, as long as I can drink as much as I want to. That's the rule. That's the
I
only
switched back
porch rule.
over. I'm back on the mics.
Mike's hard
Hard lemonade. That's been your jam for so long, Reed.
forever.
I
Yeah.
know, man. I know.
Hey,
You don't like
no
this?
shame. No shame.
They taste good and they're refreshing.
Hey, I'm not gonna argue with it.
What?
You know,
Hey, I'll
you-
take some of that monkey.
You know what's funny, and this is why I started drinking stuff like Mike's Hard Lemonade or
It's because
you know.
Reed's from the future. He's actually, or
No,
are you
start-
an alien?
started
He's
Are you an alien?
refined.
You
He's
guys seen Men in
refined.
Black? The guy comes up in the Edgar suit. He's like, sugar, water.
That's awesome. I love that part.
no like the reason I stopped drinking black coffee or you
Aliens love lemonade. I don't know what it is.
straight
They do.
booze or whatever is because
Oh,
it
that's
doesn't
good.
really taste all that good. So what do? I put cream and sugar in my coffee. Who the fuck am I trying to impress drinking black coffee? It doesn't taste good.
Yeah. Well, it's the sugar.
So I throw some sugar, throw some cream in there. It's fantastic. It's
So
delicious.
here's how I do my coffee.
Why do people drink black coffee?
Here's how I do my coffee, Nick. I'm the
You don't drink black
simplest.
coffee, Nick?
I'm the
Fuck
simplest
no.
coffee ever, bro.
Racist.
I get a can of whipped cream. I get a can of whipped cream, right? And I just fill my fucking coffee cup up to the fucking brim with whipped cream, and then I just pour my hot coffee on top of it. And by the time I have a fucking foamy froth on the top,
that
it's
actually
delicious.
sounds kind of good.
I got some cream for your coffee. I'm talking about semen.
I'm so glad.
I don't drink semen.
I'm so
Is
glad.
that do you drink that regularly?
I'm so glad it was
Is
quiet.
that something you
for
drink
that.
every night?
I'm giving you the opportunity.
I'll pass. I don't even need to let you finish that. I'll pass that. I'll pass on that. I know that's something that I wouldn't enjoy. I don't know. Do you enjoy it? Is it good?
I think I might enjoy it if you drank my semen. Yes. That's good. That's good.
Welcome to Porchville, ladies and gentlemen. This is.
Hey, you know how I know you're gay, bro?
You know what's funny is so we've done a couple episodes of the podcast as it is right now, and I think this is probably the most authentic, like how the fucking porch really is. This is what we do, man. We just sit out, we hang out, we have a good fucking time, we throw out wacky off the cuff bullshit, and it's just about having fun. Like there's
I'm having fun.
there's so much like serious bullshit in the world, like in our lives day to day. So we get together, we hang out, we have some drinks, and we just
So Nick,
have fun.
you have been my best friend for I don't know how long.
Dude, we've been together since 2000.
Since you bought those chucks you're wearing.
What about me, Joe?
2001.
You're all right.
I'm
But,
not
hey.
gonna have you pick my kid up from the store or nothing, but you're all right,
You might forget them, but hey, of all the ideas you've ever had, this podcast is great because
You're welcome.
is this you?
Thanks, buddy.
It was a culmination.
I made sure it was something that Nick really wanted to happen.
Cody really made sure that, like, honestly, because I'd talked about it, different incarnations, different types. I have a lot of different interests. Obviously, music. I've been into paranormal stuff,
We
true
can talk
crime
about shit
stuff.
for days.
And but that was the thing is that the podcasts that I listened to were always really focused on one thing. And when Cody and I started talking about doing a podcast, it was like, well, let's do a podcast and let's just talk about whatever the fuck we want to talk about.
Well,
like
dude, we
it
do
doesn't
this
have
every
to be
night anyway.
This is
Right.
what we do.
And this
Let's
is
just do
better
what we
than
do.
a lot of the bullshit that's out there.
And that's where I was going with it because we've been hanging out on the porch, and
On
it's
the
been
porch,
called
yeah.
the porch for like years and years and years and years. So now
Over a decade.
it's being documented.
Yeah.
It's being a thing. People are listening. It's getting momentum. I think it's like I love it. I love the
Yeah.
whole concept.
We've gotten some really cool reviews. Not like formal, reviews on, different pages, but
We're getting there.
some really good feedback from, friends. We actually I talked to Clay Brooker, who's a local artist. He's actually on his way to Canada, or he flew to Canada to play
Yeah.
a show. Took his whole band to Canada, and he was listening to episode 2. He told me, he said, "Oh, I'll make sure to listen to it on the flight," because
Shout out.
he hit me up on after we dropped the first episode, and he loved it. He said, "Man, just keep this Porchville thing going." And this is a guy, he plays in the bars.
So
You
Clay
know,
is Rich's singer?
Yeah.
Okay.
So, he plays the bars. That's what he does. That's his bread and butter. He's out there every night as many times as he can, playing these fucking bars, doing these 3-4 hour sets. And
Jesus,
a
God
grind.
bless you. God
That's a
bless you,
grind.
man.
but
Grind.
but you make your money.
He's doing
Yeah.
good.
You make
Yep.
your money on a Friday night, on a Saturday night, playing these bars. And he reached out and he said, "Man, I love the podcast. You got to keep it going. I'm really enjoying it." And I said, "Great. Let's get you on the podcast and let's talk about your journey," because that's, a lot of the people that we're going to bring on, it's not going to be like, these big time famous fucking artists or famous people in general. Like, but I'm interested in their stories, One of the things that whenever new people would come to the porch is I'd always just look at them and say, "All right, what's your story?" And they'd look at me kind of crazy, like, "What are you talking about? Where are you from, man? What do you do? What brought you to this?
Yeah.
What brought you to the porch?"
You're at my house, bro.
And I,
How did you get here?
But I've always been just sort of fascinated by that, by people's journeys, and so this is sort of a cool way to talk about those and interview those. But I asked the guy, I said, "Hey, well, if you ever have a Friday night where you're not worried," he said, "Man, I'll clear a Friday to come and do
That's super
Porchville."
cool. And
So that's what it's all about, man. It's getting a little momentum, hopefully,
And
at
if-
least amongst the locals right now.
I'm going to say, just someone with a marketing background, if you are listening and you are enjoying this, the number one thing you can do is share it. Share it with
Absolutely.
on
Share it.
all the
Please.
media. And just spread the gospel. Let it get it out there. If you believe in it, spread it.
Share it, subscribe to it. You know, you can find us
Like it.
Stitcher, iTunes, which we just got approved for iTunes
Yeah.
like 10 minutes before we
Dude,
started this
tell
podcast
me that's not
tonight.
legit as fuck, guys.
That's
That's
awesome.
legit,
That's super
right?
legit.
Like,
That's awesome.
It doesn't get any more legit. That's like catching a label, bro.
And you know what? The
Like-
the funny thing is,
Oh, here's a podcast.
Yeah.
in full disclosure about it, it's literally you go to iTunes, you click a link that says submit a podcast, and guess what you do? You submit your podcast. That's it. Is it like some major strenuous 10-step fucking process? No. But when you look on there and it says approved, it feels like
Man,
you've
it
just
feels
been through the
good.
ringer. It's like, yes, we have achieved this very simple, basic thing that
Like-
really anybody can do. But
Oh no, but
You
it
know.
takes
It's like
a lot.
catching a label.
I'm sure.
It's like
Exactly.
catching a label. It's like saying in the music industry, God, you pray to God you can catch a fucking label,
not,
right?
not nowadays.
Well,
Not
I mean, like
nowadays,
those
but,
guys are.
you know,
Then I'll be picked up, and
40
then I'll have
years
all
ago.
this fucking shit already lined up for me.
Yeah,
Now it's
absolutely.
like, dude, we can do that shit ourselves.
Yeah.
I don't need this. I don't need this and this and this and this and shit. I'm just fucking sign up for that shit and bam,
and-
good
and
to go.
We talked about guests before. You know, we're still going to have Broken Silence coming in. They're a band based out of Gainesville. We got Houston Keene coming in. He's an artist who is from Gainesville, Chiefland area, and he moved out to Austin to go for it. Now we're also going to bring Clay Brooker in, add him to the fold.
Yeah,
and
man.
then we've also got a guest that I'm actually really excited about. Probably one of the ones that I'm more excited about than any is a woman named Kristen Crisp, and
Crisp.
and she's a life coach, and
that'll be
like
fun.
I just like she does yoga and all this sort of stuff, and again, it's about the journey. You know, I want to hear her like how she got from point A to where she is now.
Dude, that's
And
cool.
I just like the fucking story along the way. And I think that's why this whole thing is going to be kind of cool, because it's just about the fucking story, man. It's just about like
So
how did you get to where you are kind of thing.
if I can jump in, and I know
Shoot.
we're running out of time.
We got 24 minutes.
Oh, I'm gonna take a piss then. But before I do that, I gotta encourage everyone listening. We were talking about music earlier. So Nick, Reed, and myself, we were in a band called After the End. If you go to YouTube and you go After the End, Red Level,
Yes.
you're gonna catch our
Yes.
song. You're gonna catch our video. And you want to talk about a story,
I wanted to
Oh.
open with that.
dude? That story
Yeah.
is like. I should we spoil it, or should we make people
Well-
go check it out?
Well, I mean, the story itself,
The song itself is
Well, they can hear our
Fucking
views and go
awesome.
check it out for themselves.
That's where I'm
so
at.
They can hear our view
This-
of it and
the-
check it out
the
for themselves.
story is even better.
the story. Well, there's the story of the song is about my wife's grandfather, Cecil Perrette, who everybody affectionately called Ga, and he came to live with us for the last few months of his life, and I would just sit and talk to him. You know, again, you know what? If he was still here, he would do this fucking podcast.
That's
Of
awesome.
course.
And that would
I'm
be
sure he would.
amazing. But that's essentially what we did. We just sat around and we would listen to stories, and I mean, the world itself was just such a different fucking place, back then in these stories that he's talking about. He fought in Korea, all this, just crazy stuff to hear about.
Probably
And-
badass stories.
Oh, yeah,
Guaranteed.
absolutely.
Oh,
Absolutely.
that's a man
That's
for you.
badass
Absolutely.
stories
Yeah, he was
right there.
Marine Corps. I mean, colonel, and but to hear him tell it was just something that like you just knew I have to pay attention
Yeah.
because this is never going to happen again, and to be here and to live in this moment right now is so important, and having my kids here and all that sort of stuff, and for them to be able to interact with him on a daily basis, to hear some of these stories, to be, for him to share his wisdom with them was absolutely fucking priceless.
Yeah,
you know?
absolutely.
I know that feeling. The
So-
stories are so strong, and they're
Yeah.
They just grab you
and it's vivid.
Yeah.
You know, when somebody like that tells a story, you see it playing out in your fucking mind. It's
Well,
not,
I mean, imagine being right there on the brink of the end, you know?
Oh yeah.
Like, and you're with your family. Wouldn't you want to share your most...
Yeah.
So what I respect, first of all, I miss Guy. I'm honored to have got to meet him and know him. But I'm super pumped for you, Nick, that you were smart enough to grab your tape recorder and records. You know, they'd be sitting there telling stories late into the night, and they could have the tape recorder
Just
running
as a
on
tape
the slide.
recorder,
That's
like
so
it's the
slick.
1970s.
Right.
Slick.
I mean, it was my phone. I hit the record app.
So he's from this town in Alabama called Red Level.
Red Level, Alabama.
And that really started the song.
Yep.
And the song tells the story of his life. And at the end of the song, there's a little snippet of an actual recording.
Man, that's so cool.
Yeah. And I've done a lot of cool things in my life. That song and that video, it's near the very top of the list.
Yeah, that was definitely the favorite for me.
It's one of my favorites.
And I mean, I've recorded music since I was
Yes.
16, 18 years old. And, you know, that's
special. That's a
it was
special
just
song.
totally
It really
different,
is.
you know. And I mean, Stan Martell up at Martell Studios in Kingsland, Georgia. Give it up for Stan. He's awesome.
Yeah, we've been up there a few times, but this time, man, in the video.
Oh yeah,
all of it.
video was great.
And what was cool was
Really
that
was.
he was
It was
into
really
it.
good.
He was into it. You know, he felt it. It wasn't just like, oh, I'm just here to, you know, record your song, record your fucking video. Like,
Nah,
hurry up, get out.
He wanted
fucking
to do
pay me.
everything.
Like, he was into it, man. He fucking loved it too. And that, when everybody's on board and all the fucking cylinders are firing, that's when it's the best. You know, I mean, it was perfect.
Dude, I remember
really
sitting
was.
in the back seat of your truck and his fucking camera right in my face.
When you watch the video,
and you're looking at me, Nick, and you're laughing your ass off, and I'm just trying to like sit cool and sit,
yeah,
you know, all
all the
tough
while.
and shit.
Right.
Reed had the most awkward look on his face. You know,
But
it was really funny.
It was
Working on his human emotions.
Stan was pumped up about it, you know, and
Oh, he wanted to use the
he wanted to
drone
use
and-
everything.
Yeah.
He had to use everything to get that video as best as it could be.
And it came out super.
Excellent.
Yeah.
Excellent. Needless to say, if you need some badass audio and video, go up and see Stan Martell.
And that's after the end, Red Level.
Can we post a link?
Yeah, we can do that.
We should post a link to that.
We'll post a link of After the End, Red Level. We'll post that on the Porchville Pod at Facebook. And so you can go there and check it out.
Because it really is it's one of my favorite songs you guys ever did, man.
Well,
like, I really love it. Like, it's so Americana, you know? Like,
So
and it tells a
I'm with
great
you.
story.
I'm with
Hell
you.
yeah.
And that's the last time I've ever been in a recording studio. And if it turns out that is the last time, I know that I built and went out
Yes.
on a high note.
Yeah, I mean,
Wow.
realistically, unless there's, you know, some little thing here or there that we decide to do, I'll admit I would love one
Look at
chance.
Nick right now. Look at Nick right now.
Get into it.
I can see his eyes.
Get into it.
I would love, and for anybody that knows us, for anybody that's heard the old band Hollow Days play over the years, we were together for like 16 years here in
1
Gainesville.
million years.
But for anybody that knows us, I would love a fucking chance to go up and record one song, and that song would be
Changing lanes.
You're Goddamn Right.
Dude, yeah.
You're goddamn right.
That was the jam.
That would have been, you know, if we had gone that route, that would have been our song. That would have been the one that we pushed.
I need to hear this song.
What?
it's
You've never
tremendous.
heard that?
I'm
You've
sure I
heard
have.
What the fuck is wrong with you?
I couldn't tell
I've
you the
never heard
name.
it.
I'm sure you both have heard it.
Hey, just Google holidays changing lanes. It's all
How's
over
it go,
the
man?
Got my
interwebs.
blinker on and I'm changing lanes.
That's exactly.
I'm changing. Got my
Southwest
blinker on,
13.
going over 4 lanes.
Is that it? Did I hit it?
I'm down here on University Avenue.
I'll never be
changing
able to
lanes.
sing that song the same again. Now that I've heard that. Got my blinker on and changing. Oh man,
Oh man.
I might have to write that song tonight. I'll tell you what.
get some background. Cha 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 in the background.
Dude,
Oh.
I think we need a Porchville song. It's just like distinctively just ours.
Just
man.
Porchville.
Yeah.
Well, right now,
Or should it be a jingle?
right now the song that we've used right now has been a song called "Change Our World."
Which is awesome. It rocks.
And that was Holiday. You can go on the old interwebs, YouTube, Holidays, Change Our World. We wrote that song actually. You know, Joe and I, we've been
it's
playing
Joe Herschel on the
together
guitar there.
for ever, and we had played with a friend of ours. His name's Dave Rivenbark. Lives out in California. What's up, Dave?
Wyland.
And Dave is sending me a text message right this moment. I guarantee it. As he's listening to this, he's like, "Fuck yeah!" Or some shit like that. Am I right?
Yeah,
I'm telling you.
You're on point.
I guarantee it. So much love to Dave. He's a fucking genius. We got together with Dave after he had been away from the band for several years.
After the end.
And no, this was Hollow Days. And we
it's convoluted. We're not gonna lie about it. It's convoluted.
But
he left and he came back.
Yeah.
And blah, blah, blah.
he actually came back and he was doing some work. He was doing some painting and he fell off a fucking ladder.
Fuck.
That's right.
How high was he?
He's pretty fucking high. 3 stories.
Yeah, 3 stories up.
Yeah,
So
but how high was he?
not
No.
No. But so he fell off this ladder and fucked himself all up.
He's 27
Broke
feet.
his legs or pelvis or something like that.
Jesus.
He was rocked out. So the 4 of us, that's Parker, Luke, Nick, and myself.
Well, but before that,
God, that would suck.
while he was on the mend, he just sat around writing songs and writing music.
and recording them. Yeah,
recording
the
them.
lyrics.
And then once he got better, he was like, "I want to play this shit."
Yeah, and so we were all like, hey, at that time, Holidays was sort of kind of, I'll be honest, we had been going for a while, sort of running out of gas. But Dave was in just this creative zone, writing these songs with these lyrics, with these
Flow
riffs.
state. He found it. That's
And
the
so,
best.
so I was like, shit, my band's dying, but you are like flying. Dave, why don't you come back into the band as the second guitarist? We've never had a
What?
second guitarist.
You
in
said
the,
this?
Yes, sir.
Holidays
Whoa,
became a
bro.
5-piece.
In the history of the band, right?
Whoa.
Kept Parker on bass, Luke Pigeon on drums, Nick and Joe. Now we got Dave.
Well, and if
No.
Real quick.
No.
Okay, go ahead.
Because what we did is we said, hey, by the way, when you come back, all the old shit, fuck it. We're done. It's all new.
Yeah.
We're building from the ground
we wiped
up.
the entire catalog clean.
Boom. So we came up with like 10, 11 new songs, new tunings, all this new shit. And that is what you hear at the start and end of each Porch podcast. And it's worth saying, the first time I was listening to the Porch podcast, I heard this intro. I was like, God damn, that sounds good.
Fuck
Who the
yes,
fuck
it
is?
does.
Oh, it's us. That happened. That happened.
That is a good intro.
What was really awesome about Dave is that when Hollow Days, we were together for about a year, did some shows, had some fun, and myself and Jeremy, the original bass player, we left. And weren't really vibing the direction we were going. Thought we could get something else going, whatever.
Divas.
Not the greatest move, but we made the move regardless.
Diva.
We were apart for a year, and then when we got back together, Jeremy, who was pursuing his doctorate in economics and shit, and going on to bigger and better things, he didn't want to join back in, so we needed a new bass player. Well, we all knew Dave. Dave had been around. Dave was a guitar player
Yeah,
and
been in a band with
fucking
Luke.
badass guitar player. Yeah, he had played in a band with Luke, our drummer, during our hiatus. I came out, did a little singing here and there. But Dave was a guitar player. And Dave was a fucking
Yeah, he was
badass
not a
guitar player.
bassist.
I didn't know a lot of people that could stand on a stage with a guitar and play as well as Joe Herschel could play.
Dude.
And when I heard this guy, I was like, "Oh my God, yeah, he's fucking great." Okay, cool. Well, he just like anybody else, any other musician, they spend those young years doing nothing but sitting in their bedroom, fucking playing those same chords, working those same riffs, going over and
Grinding
over and
it
over
out.
again. You know, everybody else is out partying. You're in your fucking bedroom, you know, working on transitions or scales or whatever the fuck guitar players work on, because I never worked on them.
That's a sacrifice you have to make.
But the biggest sacrifice that I felt he made was when we said, hey, we're putting the band back together, putting Holidays back together. Would you like to join? He was like, yeah, absolutely. And we said, cool, but you got to play bass. He didn't hesitate. He sold his guitars off,
Wow.
traded them in for fucking basses, turned around and ended up being a badass fucking bass player as well. You know? So it was just, I always thought that was really cool, and I had a lot of respect.
Well, that shows that
for
he had a
him
lot of
throughout that.
respect for you guys.
Well, he wanted to play in a band.
Especially for someone like Joe, who's also a guitarist.
He wanted
to have some respect.
He wanted
for
to
Joe.
play in a band that it wasn't all about, you know, fucking getting drunk or getting high or, you know, shooting this or
Right.
doing that or
Yeah,
snorting
man.
it.
No needles in our band.
Having fun and playing good fucking music, you know. And the cool thing is that and actually, now that I'm thinking about it, Dave is going to be a guest on the show.
I love that, man.
He's coming in next month, so he's going to sit down and talk to us, because that guy ended up leaving Hollow Days and joining a band called E to Adam, which is based out of New York, and they've done some you know, some big things, played Earth Day Birthday down here and stuff like that.
Yeah, with nationwide touring.
Yeah.
Wow.
Big bands.
But he's out
Saliva,
there-
Tesla.
yeah.
He did the shit. He did the shit.
He was telling us a story about
That's a
being at the
dream right
Rainbow
there.
Room, standing next to Matt Sorum from Guns N' Roses or some shit, and I'm like,
pushing Jerry Cantrell out the way.
yeah, it's like, holy shit. Like, so he's got some cool
Get out of my way.
fucking stories. I'll
nobody.
tell you that. So I'm excited to bring him in.
And you know what? The greatest thing about Dave is his heart. He is good people.
100%.
And I'm gonna say that about Jeremy, Luke, Reed,
Yes.
all the guys that we've really locked up with.
I wouldn't be friends with you guys if y'all weren't.
Well,
good people.
the thing about
You know what I
Dave,
mean?
I do know what. Yeah.
Yeah, I'm not friends with anybody I don't like.
Right. Like, well, like, dude, some people you just have to be around sometimes. You know, like that's a thing.
well, the cool thing about Dave was that we had lost Jeremy, and you know, when we started the band, I mean, we were all in our early 20s, 21, 22, you know, we were kids. And I remember Jeremy being this, like, go-getter. He was just one of those guys. At one point, he wanted to go door to door to sell tickets for a show that we were doing.
Wow.
And
What
so
a hero.
he walked up to some door in an apartment complex, and it was an apartment full of women.
Yes.
And so when he knocked on the door, there's some strange man out the door, and he heard them inside talking about there's a strange guy at our door. And so that was when he decided, you know what, maybe this isn't the best approach.
It's cool, ladies. I'm in a band.
Right? But
Hey, I just want to rock your world.
but his enthusiasm was infectious. And when we split and got back together, you know, getting back together without that kind of enthusiasm, you know, it was uncharted waters. And when Dave came in, you know, I think he was probably the most enthusiastic member ever.
He was driven.
You know, he just wanted to play fucking music. And
Takes that, man.
It does.
His drive alone was amazing. So
Joe, I still want to talk about boxing, bro.
All right.
Let
So
me.
yes.
All right, fair enough. I still want to talk about boxing, man, and yeah, I'm so pumped that you have your son in boxing, because I'm whenever my son gets to the age, I would love to get him into one of those sports, and I think baseball is one of those sports that's great for a transition into a one-on-one, because in the sense it is a one-on-one sport, because when you're hitting, it's you against the pitcher, and it's that
It's
one-on-one.
individualistic.
Yeah, in that aspect it is. But whenever you move into the one-on-one combat situation, or of like wrestling, boxing, judo, taekwondo, karate, whatever venue you're into, Brazilian jiu-jitsu.
That's what I believe it or not. I talked to my daughter last night.
Uh-huh.
I showed her some videos of some girls flipping other kids, and she's pretty athletic. I'm like, Hannah, would you like to do this? She's like, let me think about it. So,
yeah, because she's never
think
really
about
been
it.
much into sports, but show her some videos of, you know, kicking some kids' asses. Hey, you know what?
exactly.
I can do
Maybe.
that.
But boxing,
Yeah.
bro.
Yeah, so she's,
But as a
she's
dad,
all about
you-
being creative and all that stuff.
Could you really ask for something better for her to actually be into? Like, fuck yeah, that's
what I'm saying.
if you're gonna
Hey,
do it.
who's
do
this
it.
creepy guy? You know, when she's a bit older, I think I'm gonna flip you and break your arm. How you doing?
You're talking judo or are you talking Brazilian jiu-jitsu?
Brazilian jiu-jitsu.
Yeah, see,
Nothing would make daddy or proud.
I'm a huge fan of judo, and it's a shame that here in Porchville, Gainesville, Florida, we don't have fucking any major judo classes, dude. Because judo was designed by the Japanese to defeat imperial fucking like samurais and stuff who were wearing like body armor, like samurai armor and stuff like that. So it was designed for the people to take down an armed individual who was armored, who you couldn't stab, right? Like if you stabbed him, it wouldn't go through his armor. So like it was designed to basically immobilize them. So like you take them down, you throw a judo throw, and then you break their fucking arm, right? And then like now they can't. Now their swords is fucking like they got one arm, bro.
Right.
I'd rather fight a guy who's got one arm than you know.
That's
I'm
wild.
with you.
I had no idea that's where it came from, though.
Yeah, it's Japanese stuff.
I'm always kind of you always throw a little of the
Trivia knowledge.
MMA wisdom my way.
But-
I'm always grateful for it.
But boxing though, man, that stuff is you can if your son can hit that flow state and really get comfortable and get into that, dude, it's great, man. And I think who's the English
it's
cat?
awesome.
Who's the big English cat? The gypsy guy, Gypsy King.
I don't know who you hang out with. I don't know.
Well, dude, he's the best boxer in the world. He's the heavyweight champ. Oh my God, I can't think of his name.
So he's like I said earlier.
He's the
He's
best.
been watching the old stuff. Tommy Hearns, Sugar Ray Leonard. He's brand new, but he's absorbing the sport and he's very into it thus far. So as long as his mind is there and his heart is there, we're just gonna encourage it.
There's this guy I know named Ron.
I'm just gonna ask real quick.
Okay.
Is it Anthony Joshua?
No, Anthony Joshua just got beat. It's another guy. Look up Gypsy King.
All right,
That's
I'll
his-
look that
that's
up.
his- that's
I'll look
his
that
fight
up.
name.
You keep going.
Yeah, that's his fight name. Anyways, he's the best.
He couldn't-
Deontay Wilder is a freaking monster, but his boxing isn't very sound. You
Hey,
know, like he's not very technical.
So the best guy could not come up with a better nickname than Gypsy King.
Dude, that's an amazing freaking fight
Wait
name.
a fucking minute.
What's
Wait
his
a
name?
minute. Wait a minute.
Tyson
wait a minute.
Fury.
Tyson
Fury.
Fury.
Yeah, the Gypsy
And his
King.
name is Gypsy King.
Yes.
See,
No, he should have kept Tyson
Tyson Fury is way better.
Way
But,
better.
I mean,
You guys don't know who Tyson Fury is, bro?
Yeah, he's the Gypsy King, bro.
But
Yeah.
well, you got Tyson and you got Fury, which is pretty much all you need for fucking boxing.
Right. He's
So,
set.
so,
He's set.
but that's the thing. When your name is Tyson fucking Fury, I guess you gotta, you can kind of go with whatever you want.
He's the Gypsy
I
King.
have no
dude.
idea what the fuck that just was.
He's the Gypsy King. But
Time out.
he's one of the best boxers out there. But again, I like Floyd Mayweather's approach. He is about just scoring points and taking no damage.
That's awesome.
And
So I don't think my kid's going to grow up to be a boxer.
right.
But I'm sure when
No,
he gets a
but-
bit older, somebody's going to say something to somebody. And he's going to have to settle some business.
Exactly,
Yep.
dude. That's what's so great about it, dude.
Yeah.
I commend you for putting him in that.
Oh, yeah.
It's going to need to rearrange that jaw. And,
That's right.
Game over.
Trial
That's
by
it.
fire,
There you
baby.
go.
And it's
There
great
you go.
it's great for a young boy
Yeah.
who's turning into a man.
And his mind is ready for this challenge.
Right.
That's
That's
what's
amazing.
special. Yep.
That's awesome. Well, you know what? I'm gonna say before we get out of here to remind everybody to go over to iTunes, leave us some reviews.
Yeah,
Stitcher Radio Stitcher Radio. Stitcher.
Radio. Yeah,
Stitcher.
come on, let's go.
Just go to fucking Stitcher. Subscribe to us. Leave us some reviews. You can go over, find us on PorchvillePod.com,
That's us.
Facebook.com.
Oh, listen to that
Porchville
guitar,
Pod.
baby. Oh,
Joe Herschel.
That's right. Yeah. We're gonna let
listen to this drop. Listen to this drop.
holidays
Here we go.
change our world. We're gonna let that ride us out. Once again, ladies and gentlemen, this has been another episode of the Porchville Podcast. Check us out, Facebook, iTunes, Stitcher. You can find us on Instagram. You can find us on YouTube, hopefully here soon.
Hey,
Anyway.
I love my Porchvillians. You guys fucking rock. You guys support
Porchvillians.
us. We love you.
You're the best.
We want to hear from you.
You push me into the. All right, I'm gonna stop.
So make sure you come over to the website, leave us some love, give us some suggestions. We want to hear what the fuck you want to talk about. We're out of here. Have a good night. Bye-bye.